man.
I know, it's probably like...
Alright, we're live!
Jesus.
Dude,
Finally.
I have no idea what to say. And, like, some friends came and brought me an 18-year-old scotch.
Yep.
So I'm a little bit tipsy. I've got,
One
like,
in the
scotch
afternoon,
and
ain't even mad.
Dude, like, thank you guys so much. I like, passed out from exhaustion at, like, 6:30 or 7. I was like, I don't know if we're going to hit it tonight. And then I woke up.
I know some fans were staying up, but I was like, I don't know, like, it slows down, like, we hadn't gotten a couple pledges in a few hours.
Yeah,
like,
I woke up and I was like, holy shit.
First of all, because I was like, we'll be late for the broadcast. Wait a second. We're funded.
Hold on, let me grab my coffee. Hey, guys.
You're muted if you didn't know that.
Hey, let me know if the camera's stuck on me again, because, like, that whole last live stream, it was stuck on me.
Yeah, Leandro, I can't unmute you, by the way.
And as beautiful as I am.
Oh, you're muting yourself, Leandro?
No, I'm not.
Well, Patrick, stop.
No, it's not me. It's not me.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. I just wasn't talking.
Oh, it's automatically muting you when you're not talking, I think.
Oh.
It's fancy.
Alright, I'm back.
That's pretty fancy.
Guys,
Hi,
check it. Coffee and scotch.
That's what's happening.
I've
What
got
about
Cocoa
Alabama
Puffs.
Rita?
Oh, that stuff is so good. Oh, alright.
Celebrate.
Leandro's got wine? Alright, let's do this.
Dude, you guys have no idea what a fucking emotional roller coaster this Kickstarter campaign has been. Oh my god.
Like, it's been crazy stressful, but, like, even though it's been, like, really stressful and, like, just crazy, like, we haven't been unhappy during any of this. Like, it's just been a crazy intense ride, and we've enjoyed every minute of it, but, like,
Just been
it's
super
been nuts.
stressed
Like,
out. Nah, dude, there was a point, like, 2 weeks ago about when we were, like, in the hotel room where, like, I literally could not sleep at night because, like, I was so sure there was a high chance that we would fail. Like, I had to, like, drink myself to sleep just to take my mind off of, like, the fucking agony of maybe
distract yourself with the toy box.
But we done it.
Wow, we've achieved it, gentlemen.
Alright, let's start taking questions.
First one, how often will Ouya be released from now on?
Well, you know, there's a stretch goal for making us release them weekly, and it's actually not that far away. So, first of all, if that stretch goal gets hit, then we have to do them weekly. If that stretch goal doesn't get hit, then probably about... We haven't been doing it very often now just because we've been doing live streams and updating like that, but I would still say about, like, every other week, every week, just when we amassed enough footage, you know, that, you know...
Towards not inconveniencing the dev flow.
But seriously, I really want to hit the goal where we're pretty much committing to doing it every week, and part of that goal is we would invest in, like, new cameras, better cameras, higher quality shit.
Well, like Patrick released
tripods.
his adventures in graphics design or whatever too. Like, you know, we would
like
like to do those side series.
Which did pretty fucking well, Patrick. I have to
really good job
give it to
editing
you.
it.
I have
Thank
to
you,
give it
thank
to you,
you.
man. Like, in all the years doing adventures in game development, I didn't think an adventures in graphics design would do as well as it did. Like,
I did my fair share spamming it literally everywhere, and you know the initial content was pretty interesting because it's like it's completely new thing. So obviously, like,
right.
thank God it made well. But you know, I definitely need a better internet because right now I have like the cheapest internet available. So like my stream quality is questionable at best.
Right.
So there's like some money.
Your stream quality is shit. Hey, do I not have a fucking title again?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, you gotta add the Hangout toolbox or
God
whatever.
damn
It's like the second or third one from the bottom.
Well, I think everybody knows who Falco is.
Dude, I'm getting too trashed to be able to do this. Alright, what do I do in the Hangout toolbox?
Who's Falco?
Turn on the first profile.
He's the new guy.
Bitch, I will
Yeah,
kill
he's the new guy.
He's the sound effect guy, right?
Bitch, I will fucking... Alright, back to
It
questions.
just says Elysian Shadows.
Are you serious?
Elysian Shadows.
Alright, well, fucking, I am Elysian Chef.
Is that the bottle of wine I hear getting open, Andrew?
Yeah.
Dude, look at this shit.
He's just
Our
lubricating
friends-
something. Don't worry.
Dude,
Yeah.
I woke up, like, I have so many text messages and, like, Facebook notifications and Twitter. Like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to go through these today.
Yeah. Someone brought us an 18-year-old scotch, and, well, can't not drink it, so.
All right, next question. God damn it, they're asking good questions, and I'm slightly tipsy. Is the Ouya money going towards the stretch goals? Actually, I don't think it is, just because it's not funneled through Kickstarter. If they were contributing to Kickstarter...
Yeah, and it's not all at once either.
Then,
That's
yeah,
another thing.
so the thing about Ouya, too, is we're only getting 50% up front, and then we're getting 25 and 25 later. And since it's
And
not...
there's like
What's
yeah.
up? No.
I mean, they have some sort of like milestones as well. Like you have to do something. I don't.
Yeah, I mean that's
it's
what it is.
It's not like you get all the money.
You get 50% up front. You get 25% when you launch on their store, and 25% when the exclusivity period ends. So we don't get it all up front, so we can't invest it in that development cycle.
Right.
So that's the only reason why we haven't included it.
Right. Damn, that was a good question.
If ES Online stretch goal is not reached, there's still a chance to see it in the future. Awesome.
First of all, if any of the stretch goals are not hit, we made those stretch goals because we genuinely wanted to fucking do them. It wasn't like we just threw those out there to like give you an excuse to give us more money. It was because those were things we genuinely wanted to do.
And we knew that we could do them. We already analyzed like,
right. So if we don't hit a stretch goal, yes, there's still a chance it will happen. Most likely it won't happen until after the game is released, though, you know, because like there's no point in overcommitting and then like being late and having like
the game would definitely be
the
released
entire
first.
world hate us because of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
there is a chance.
First finish the game, then add fluff.
It's like all the additional systems and stuff like that too. I mean, since they're stretch goals, they would be after the initial release of the initial consoles.
Right.
So.
All right. Next question.
What does it feel like knowing that there's enough people who love your life's work to give you this much money?
So many feelings, dude.
It's indescribable.
It really is, and especially considering, like, you know, like we have a lot of love, but we also have a lot of hate, and sometimes that gets you. Like you realize, like, the audacity of these motherfuckers to come out and like make a 2D RPG for the Sega Dreamcast, and everyone is like, no one cares about 2D, no one cares about the Dreamcast, like, you're not going to be able to do this, and, like, there was a point during the campaign where I didn't even think that we would probably make it, so, I don't know, it's still really fucking surreal to me, and it will probably continue to be surreal until I sober up. It's a good feeling, guys, really.
I mean, it's pretty good. Like, to be honest, because you know, I'm the pessimist of the entire team, and I was thinking that, you know, the worst gonna happen.
Yes, he is.
And you know, really, because you know, I have like a couple of game dev friends that are actually indie, and some of them got like a fair share of abuse. So I always was thinking that we're gonna get trashed and so much hate mail, and people were gonna dox us, and like I know stalkers outside the windows, just you know, so much hate, and there was none of it. Like there were just you know. From what I've seen, there was like a couple of negative comments, lots of like couple of neutral ones, and then just you know so much love and positivity. So I'm like,
yeah, for sure.
People fucking love us. People fucking love us. Like I'm just joking. I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Someone said, congratulations, will you make ESTK open source? Will backers be allowed to commercially release games using the engine and toolkit?
That's a good fucking question. See,
and by the way, this was asked by Trask.
Complicated. We've kind of avoided answering that.
Disclaimer: Falco is fucking drunk right now, and to know what he says is legally binding.
Shut your ass up and let me answer the question. Okay, LibGyro will be fully open source because that was the entire point of it. ES Gamma itself and the toolkit itself will not be open source, but we're publishing the entire Lua API, which basically is everything you need. It's everything we're using to make Elysian Shadows. It's just that the engine itself will be binary. It's gonna work exactly like Unity, where if you can use the engine for free, like it's totally free, do whatever the fuck you want, give it to your friends. But if you want to like commercially fucking like sell games for it, then we're not sure how we want it to work. There will probably just be like a little tiny fee for it, just so like you can
some
pay
sort
us.
Of royalties.
Because the thing is that we're still going to have to work on the toolkit. We're still going to have to work on the engine, you know. So like if we didn't somehow make revenue back from that, then we wouldn't.
Also support.
Then we support and update.
Right. Yeah. Then we wouldn't be funded to like support and update the tools. Basically, like the Kickstarter was to fund Elysian Shadows, the game. So like
Yeah.
Be able
Those
be able
royalties
to
would
fund
help us pay
continue
for
working
and
on
moving
it.
that stuff
Yeah,
forward.
but it won't be anything big at all. It's just so like we can continue giving you guys the updates and shit. And as far as open source goes, like you will literally have everything you need fully documented, like in the Lua API, to do everything you see in Elysian Shadows itself. Because this is exactly what we're doing to create the game. So even if you don't have the C++ code, you have the entire documented Lua API and the libgyro API, so you can port the engine to any other platform as well.
And I should point out that you probably wouldn't even want the engine source code because it's an absolute mess to look at. So,
Dude, I will fucking kick you off the team. He only thinks it's a mess because he's not good enough to like understand the intricacies or appreciate
Dude, I
how well
saw the
written it is.
templates. I was
Don't you
I'm sorry, man, but I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like you always bitch about it, but like you've never once been.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like you used mixed tabs versus white space like everywhere, and there's like white space at the
I
end
don't
of
know about
lines.
that.
Yeah, that's
I do know he put semicolons in my Lua scripts. I can tell, like, when debugging, I'm like, wait, what
Yeah.
the fuck is this script? And I go and look, and there's semicolons. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Nah, you are right about that because, dude, like, before everything was using Qt Creator, like, I would edit the engine in, like, fucking Visual Studio, in Qt,
Oh my god, Windows and back and
in
forth.
Xcode, in Vim, like, every fucking editor was, like, editing
All
it.
the
They all
white
had different
space.
tabs, yeah, so that's why
Probably
that's...
need to clean all that up.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
That's
That's what I
why.
mean by mess.
Well, okay, then I apologize for ripping you a new asshole off the entire internet.
And here I was getting ready to talk bad about the templates.
All right, next question. There's
Um,
nothing bad to be talked about with templates. Details on ESTK. How is that?
Another question too.
How do I answer that question? What kind of details
Yes.
are you looking for?
Somebody said, how did you manage to have an average pleasure of 100 and usually for games the average plays is $15? The Dreamcast. Like,
Well-
over half of our sales came from the Dreamcast alone, and it was like all the collector's editions and the higher ups that we did for that. Like those high reward tiers were really high in demand.
Right. It's because I think most of the really successful Kickstarters get successful because they get shout-outs from Kotaku and IGN and things like that.
Yeah.
And the people who back those Kickstarters are only going to back for low amounts, like $15 and things like that. They're just going to buy the digital. But the reason we made it is because we have a very dedicated following that we've organically built over the years through YouTube and touring and stuff. And then we had really attractive higher tiers with like the physical releases and the Dreamcast itself, you know, since it is a physical release, it is the most popular. That already like pushed us ahead on the average. So
Guys, like I think we actually might be like the highest end Kickstarter that did it without any public
I don't know for 100% for sure, but I would say we have, because of all the Kickstarters we did research on leading up to this, like Hyperlight and all these other ones, they released like 2 or 3 years ago. You know, back when the market was entirely different back then. If we had released back then, we would have blown it away too. But the market has changed since then. You know, I honestly don't know if there will be another big gaming Kickstarter like this in a while. Like.
And the thing that pisses me off is like we raised $150K making a fucking Dreamcast game, releasing the tools, and we're still not fucking mentioned on IGN or Kotaku. Like, what the fuck do you have to do to get on those websites? Like, no other Kickstarter has raised this amount of money without large press, and they're still ignoring it.
Dude, like we've developed
They're afraid of us. It's fine.
Dude, we've developed entire new fucking art style. Like this is literally something that no game has ever done in this like way, the dynamically linked pixel art. Because they, like, I agree, there have been some using like of the normal mapping and drawings and stuff like that, but there was nothing ever there was no attempt to make pixel art that's dynamically lit. No one has ever done it. Has anyone giving shit? No. Well, like, what do I have to do? Do I have like to like shit on canvas or something to be called a fucking artist? I don't even know.
Also, I
you
think
do.
Stuck on Falco again. I haven't been looking at it the whole time, but I don't know if you need to like click around when people are talking. I thought it moved around automatically. Like I did.
Oh, it's stuck on me again, dude. I thought it moved around automatically too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to toggle that or like what the fuck, but
Yeah,
I got this thing pulled up.
Falco does it move automatically for you?
No.
It should be a setting somewhere in your moderator controls.
All right, hey, keep answering questions
Yeah.
while I try to figure that out.
So Patrick will be learning how to draw now, so he can make the ES pornographic visual novel. I totally buy it. Jesus Christ.
Dude,
I'm actually doing that in my free time. I'm genuinely learning. Yes, I think 2 days ago I actually stole art style from one of the sort of like a soft porn blogs and artists that I really enjoy, and it's like it's really good art style. If you have me on Facebook, then you can see it in all its glory. But yeah, it's something that I'm actually working on. The licensing might be a problem. Like I don't know if Falco will agree to lend the name of Elysian Shadows.
For a porn?
Yeah.
I guess we could diversify our assets. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Yeah, I will neither like confirm nor deny a pornographic Elysian Shadows. Like that's all Patrick. That's all.
I know we might have to like to avoid copyright issues. We might have to call it like Elysian Shadows.
What do you mean to avoid copyright issues, motherfucker? We own the copyright.
No, I mean like if you wouldn't agree to that, because
we got an official tweet from Ouya, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
To avoid copyright issues?
No, I mean, like, because, like, you know, even if you wouldn't agree to make it, like, to put a name of Elysian Shadows on it, because you're the IP holder, I would still make it so like, somewhere, like, around it.
You think I'm gonna, like, sue a fucking team member over that? Shit.
By the way, we got an official tweet from Ouya. Congratulations to Elysian Shadows for breaking the record of the highest funded free-to-games Kickstarter at 150K.
Yes!
So,
thank you,
Ouya. Talking about.
Yeah.
Their CEO also tweeted.
Hey, Ouya, this is for
Fuck
you.
yeah.
This is for the Ouya right here.
Yes.
This glass of scotch.
Yep.
This knife run is for the Ouya.
So guys, now we just need tweets from like the creators of Dreamcast, and we're done.
Right.
Like the lead engineer, of Dreamcast project. He can tweet it.
All right, we got more questions here.
We have many more questions. Hey, is the camera on Patrick? I'm just gonna like move it to Patrick so no one has to look at my podcast.
Congratulations, you guys. You've all been a great inspiration to me, and watching you guys in the Aviate has always helped push me forward. Who or what inspires you?
Oh man, many.
Partially the comments like that we get hearing from our fans that we've helped inspire them to either change their career path or get into programming or return back to a project they had maybe abandoned. Like that kind of stuff like really hits me right in the feels. Like especially like on our Kickstarter comments and stuff, you would see like a big pledge from somebody or even like a small pledge and then like some comment about how we had helped change their lives and they're really hoping that they could help make a difference in ours. Like right in the feels. Like.
Pretty much, man. I'm trying to think of who really inspires me. I don't know. You guys need to watch Indie Game the movie if you haven't already seen it. Those motherfuckers are inspirational as shit.
Yeah, we watched that one night when we were getting ready to like pass out after working for like a day or two, and I was like, "Oh, we can just watch this and like go to bed." I'm like, "We have to work now. We can't sleep."
Right. I'm basically inspired by like any motherfucker who has to stay up all night and like sacrifice a portion of their mental health to make something that they believe in. Like that's the purest form of fucking like art to me.
I have the best fucking inspirations. Like every month I'm getting bills in the mail. So I'm just taking out the bills and looking at them, and that's my fucking inspiration to work my ass off because I need to pay for this shit.
Believe me, I understand that. I've promoted the shit out of you guys online for months leading up to this. So happy to see it finally came to fruition. Have you thought about what you could do to expect in the limited editions? Can you expect something on the level of working designs?
Working designs? So the limited edition is going to be basically it's a chest box modeled after the Qbot, which is the robot you can see in the poster and on the IGM cover. It's kind of like our like trademark like
it was slime
first enemy. Yeah. So it's a box modeled after him with physical copies of the art book, physical copies of the design document, which I think might be what you're describing, which is basically like the heart and soul of ES, like all of our creative influence is basically like where the game came from. And then it also comes with a physical copy of the soundtrack, a physical copy of the game, and I believe a figurine as well. So that's what's in the an authentic Egyptian papyrus scroll handmade and imported from Egypt with a graphic of your choice on it. Is what will be in the limited edition. I wish I could back my own fucking project because I kind of want that too. All right, someone asked, Ouya will double the funds until 250K, so can we push more? They will only they will only back, like, our goal was 150K, so that's as high as they'll double.
Yeah, they don't fund the overflow. It's whatever you set your goal to.
But we still have a shit ton of stretch.
And we still broke the record, first of all.
Right.
So.
And we still have a shit ton of stretch goals that we're trying to hit, especially to bring it to like all of the modern next gen platforms. Oh shit! Hold on, my entire family and personal friends and stuff.
Yeah, my phone won't stop. I just put it on silent. So since the story of ES revolves around a conflict between magic and technology, will we be able to pick a side? Main story arc, not so much. I mean, part of the side quests and stuff that we wanted to do, especially with like the other party characters, was explore the other side of the story that way. I mean, the main story narrative is linear in the sense there is a beginning and an end. We didn't want to do like a million different endings or like that kind of things. I think that really ruins the true merit of what we were trying to tell in the story. But,
I think
we'll be able to explore the other sides to understand the difference and see it's not so black and white.
Well, let me go ahead and say this. This is a pseudo storyline spoiler kind of, but what makes you think there actually are two sides of that conflict? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you said too much. You're drunk,
Spoiler
Falco.
alert.
What? They don't know anything.
Nobody listened to Falco. No.
I don't know.
Leandro's just going to do a song and dance. Don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah, Leandro's there like getting smashed with wine and he's trying to give advice on being sober. Good job, Gabby.
Hey, I remember, dude. We went to the Monaco, right? And we were ordering drinks while Leandro was here, and he asked the waitress. She's like, "Can I get just like vodka and lime or vodka and lemon?" And she was like, "Yes." You confused the shit out of her.
Vodka lemon, and she didn't understand.
She's like, vodka and lemonade? And you're like, no, but that's fine.
Well, you have different cocktails. I don't know.
Yeah. And she was just like, what? Okay.
All right. Next question.
Will ES be available for sale after the Kickstarter ends? If yes, will you count that money for Kickstarter goals? I mean, after Kickstarter ends is when we release the game. I mean...
Well, it will be available for sale after the Kickstarter ends, but like we're not going to count those sales towards the actual towards the goals for the stretch goals. Because the thing is, like, we might like hit if we did that, we might hit like a stretch goal halfway into like the development process, which means that we didn't have time to plan for it and things like that. That's the
I mean, we've already had to have budgets for all this money.
Yeah, it's basically when the Kickstarter ends is when we know our budget for the next year and a half. So like that's when we
have to plan within that.
Yeah, set in stone for that. That's the only reason.
So is it 150 or 300K that we're celebrating? Thanks, Ouya. It's the 150 for us. I mean, we're for both. Yes, we're celebrating because we're excited we made it.
I don't know, dude.
We don't get the full 300.
That's not a dollar symbol on the 300K. That's like a fucking
300 pounds. That's
is that a pound symbol? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's a pound symbol.
I don't know. I always thought that was like the Mega Man fucking Zenny symbol, like Mega Man X. I was like, oh, okay. That's fucking awesome.
Jesus. Will Elysian Shadows beta and the development forums be open to backers, or when will it be open?
Oh, actually, so obviously, like, we're not far enough along in the development process to, like, hand out beta builds yet, but the plan was, like, right after the Kickstarter to open up the beta forums and, like, get everyone, like, signed in and shit, and to keep you guys inside the loop and everything.
Part of it too, I mean, we've been doing on Google Plus is we would like to release like some updates that may not be for like the main scene for everybody else, and like some behind the scenes stuff to keep you guys involved in that process while we're getting to that point. So.
Right. So like basically you guys are gonna be like our fucking family, and like we'll keep you updated, run things by you. And another thing to keep in mind that's kind of cool now is even if like the game itself is not ready for beta testing, the engine and tools now that we're releasing those will be ready for beta testing way before the game itself will be. So that's kind of cool in that respect, that you guys can also, like, for people who are interested, actually help beta test the tools themselves. So that'll be
exciting.
We actually wanted to make a demo for the Kickstarter, but we didn't have enough time. We didn't end up having any time at all.
Yeah,
I'll be right
we had
back.
priorities.
I should probably hydrate between the scotch and caffeine.
Yeah.
Let me get some water.
See, somebody asked. Oh, hang on. I should mark that too. What happened to some of the stretch goals? Looks like they were removed, such as the cloud save feature and online portions. All of the stretch goals are actually still there, if you will. We were catching some, I guess, backdraft from some of the bigger gaming sites when they were looking at our Kickstarter, and we're trying to get on like IGN and stuff like that. And a lot of people were saying we were way too ambitious, I guess. So we took them down only in the sense to kind of like help narrow our scope and make our whole project easier to understand, like really what it is we were trying to do. I mean, I guess that giant list of like, we'll make an MMO really just made it seem like we had no idea what we were doing. When I guess we get that a lot too, but like we know what it would take to do that. I mean, we were network engineers up until this point. Like we knew that price point would be perfect for what we wanted to accomplish. Like we analyzed that, but not everybody understands that. So we took them down just to make it easier to understand for everybody. But
wait, is this the stretch goals? Is this the stretch goals?
I have an important announcement to make. If anybody can see my screen, and you know what music is playing right now, that's like the music in my soul after 150K. The save room. Yeah.
Let me hear.
Yes, by all means, let's save, gentlemen, before we proceed.
Dude, but you know what's funny? This guy's playing the fucking PS2 version of Code Veronica, not the Dreamcast version.
Hey, we gotta get him the Dreamcast.
You just lost like 50 fans, bro.
Hey, you want to buy me a copy? Go ahead, Falco.
I told you, I'll buy you a copy, dude. This is inexcusable.
Yeah, so the next live stream I'll be playing on the Dreamcast.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I have no idea which question we just answered, but I trust that you guys answered it well.
We did it well, don't worry.
Okay.
As a manager of a Kickstarter campaign, what kind of campaign metrics do you get to see that aren't visible to the public? That's from Austin Young, actually.
What kind of? Oh, really? Hey, Austin. Hey, bro.
What's up, man? We get to see everything. You'd be very surprised. We can see, how much people contribute when they pull a pledge back. I mean, what tiers? I mean, there's charts. There's.
I get push notifications every time someone backs us. Every time they increase the pledge, every time they decrease.
Comments,
as far as metrics go, like some of the useful ones are we can see where the majority of our backers come from, like whether they come from our website, whether they come from Facebook, Twitter.
It's almost like Google Analytics. I wish it was a little bit
gaming sites.
Yeah, it's actually smaller than analytics because we don't see, for example, where the backers are from physically, as in what country. So you have no way of saying like which country backed us the most. But we know from which websites they're coming from, so we can sort of analyze the traffic and what websites sort of gave us how much traffic. That's like
and that's the most useful metric. But another thing we have is it also shows you like a chart of like which rewards are the most desirable, like basically a breakdown of who's contributing to which tier the most, which tiers are the most popular.
Well, we can just show him next time we see him. He lives here in Alabama.
Oh, yeah, we can show you, man. We'll show you the dashboard. There's a lot to see. All right, next question. Are there any girls on the team? Not being creepy, legitimately wondering. Yeah, Patrick's on the team.
Got him.
That city.
See, I'm so sexy that I turn guys gay.
I mean, half the time he's not wearing a shirt. You guys are lucky. He would seduce everyone. Yeah.
Those guns, oh yeah. It's like flaps of skin hanging on the bones, like that's
Jesus Christ, Patrick. Jesus.
Have you guys decided what the DMU will show in game?
I don't know that we have decided that yet.
We've had a couple different ideas what we wanted to do.
Oh no,
we wanted to be useful. I mean, like what was it? Was the Resident Evil the one that had the monitor?
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Which was awesome. Hey, by the way, dudes, we have like almost 150 viewers, so like make sure not to suck.
I see that.
That was the best advice I ever did, Heard.
It's the best advice I ever did give. Hey, you want me to email you some of the scotch, Connor?
Yeah, scan it in.
Send it by email. Yeah, scan it in.
Actually, you may need to fax it. Hang on, that'd be a problem.
I need those zeros and ones, baby.
I'll send it to you over my Dreamcast 56K modem.
Someone said, so how actually will we buy the Dreamcast version? Will it be in retail stores or disc online, like an Amazon shop, eBay, or will there be some sort of new digital Dreamcast shop?
Actually, there already is the shop. Go Google Watermelon Magical Game Factory. Those are the guys who are publishing us on Dreamcast. It will be a physical release, but you buy it through their online store.
And it's funny you mentioned like some sort of new digital Dreamcast shop. We talked about possibly maybe something.
Oh yeah, secret evil fucking schemes. But yeah, no, they already have an online shop set up, and they'll be distributing it. It will be an actual, like, legitimate physical release with, like,
jewel. Like you actually went to the store and bought it. I mean, jewel case, full color book. I mean, everything. And
hopefully you saw it. You get to pick your regions. Like, the packaging is going to be fucking epic.
Yeah, that survey will be coming out shortly.
Because that's what Watermelon does. That's why they're awesome.
Yeah, their attention to detail is absolutely astounding. Tulio and Fonzie and all of them are just mad geniuses when it comes to that stuff.
Right. Oh, this next question. Oh, yes. Right in the rage. What do you have to say to all the haters that claimed you were being overly ambitious? Well, basically, I have one thing to say.
Oh, my gosh.
Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus.
I was predicting that.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
There's quite a few people, even some people in real life that I know were like, you guys won't make it. And knowing that, you know, we've had our end game in mind this whole time, knowing what we've been going through, knowing what kind of work we've been putting into this moment is huge.
Dude, the worst thing is, like, before the campaign, there's, like, a bunch of web forums. Like, I was just trying to raise awareness for the Kickstarter, and, like, I would post on these forums and be like, hey guys, like, we've been working on, like, the game for, like, a couple years. Here's Elysian Shadows. Here's, like, basically what we're doing, like, just wanting to, like, raise awareness for the Kickstarter. And, like, we would get these responses on some forums. Like, granted, the majority of the internet was like, wow, this is fucking cool. But there were some forums where they're like, this is, like, the gayest shit ever. You're never going to make this.
Kill yourself.
And, like, basically, like, you guys are going to have to hold me back because I'm going to go to those forums and just be like, fuck you! Fuck you!
Yeah.
I think
I
think the very worst was, like, I think that one of our fans actually posted on 4chan, and somehow we got a link, and that was probably the most depressing link that I ever witnessed in my life. And bear in mind, I saw people die. So, you know.
No, dude, we got, like, I saw us on 4chan once where people were actually, like, fucking, like, they weren't hating on us. They were, like, excited. Like, yeah, there was one on 4chan where people hated us because it's fucking 4chan.
I don't. Maybe I saw the wrong link.
No, dude, I totally saw one where people on 4chan were like, "Wow, these guys are awesome." So I was like, "All right, I'll take it."
That's adorable. That's
Next
really
one.
cool.
Would it be possible to open source the ESTK as a stretch goal? Also, you guys inspired me to learn C++.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know yet. The thing you have to remember is, like, that's my fucking life's work here, so I don't know about open sourcing it yet. But, like I said, everything you possibly need to work with it or develop Elysian Shadows, because this is how we're doing it, will be exposed to you via the Lua API. And not only that, but it will probably also be extensible through C++ as well, even
also,
if you
looks
don't
like it's
have...
stuck on you again.
Do what?
It's stuck on you again, by the way.
Oh, even well, I am speaking right now, but yeah. Even if you don't have the source itself, like, it should be fully extensible via Lua and probably C++. Connor, looks like the next one's for you, Broseph.
Also, I have 12 cans of cider and I'm playing a drinking game. Every time Falco says fuck, I have to drink.
Whoa, fucking A.
Well, we're gonna have to find someone else to help us with the website.
You want to play that game?
Oh god.
Dude, this Scotch, man.
Okay, guys, this just in. Our level designer committed suicide, so we're looking for him now.
It was for a good cause.
Oh, fuck.
Alright, what's the next question?
Connor, there was one for you. It was...
I got it. I grabbed it.
Okay, good.
It says, is the soundtrack written for particular moments and parts of the game, or is the game written separately and put together where they fit?
More Scotch and more coffee. I'll be right back.
To me, a good
Number one.
Like, when I saw The Dark Knight Rises, because Hans Zimmer is like really good. The thing is that when I watched the movie, I did not even know there was like music in the movie because it fits so perfectly with the movie that it's not like you notice it. You're just in the movie, right? So
part of the mood in the scene, yeah.
Yeah. So my goal is not that you're playing the game and the soundtrack sticks out. It's supposed to be what you're seeing, and you're just
supposed to be complimentary, not overwhelming like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want it to be written to fit what you're seeing on the screen. But I also want it to be good enough that you'd listen to it just on its own, right? So.
Well, this mad scientist that we got here, Connor, decided to come up with like the audio engine that we're using. So like during combat or whatever, like you have like a really calm like forest theme, and you run into a couple enemies. Like the soundtrack will dynamically escalate to get more intense and stuff that way, to where it is reacting to what you see on screen like that, to where it's the heightened sense of mood and the action and stuff your character's partaking in, the music of, changes and evolves with that too.
Yeah, I would definitely say the short answer is yes. Like Connor's creating like a soundtrack for specific scenarios and things like that. Especially like Tyler said, the whole dynamicism of the audio engine plays a big role in our kind of creative vision for making combat immersive and stuff like that. Was that articulate? I don't know. I'm kind of drunk. I think it was.
Your
I think
English
Connor
so
explained it
good.
better.
Your English so good, man.
I just need more coffee, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, I got my mason jar here. Okay, here's somebody asking, are you looking for a voice acting for the game? If so, can I send a demo to you guys? Also, congrats to your success. P.S. Connor, don't pull a beer scenario, Sean.
I don't know.
Okay,
Are we
so-
looking for voice
Okay,
acting?
so Sean is my
It's
best
so
friend.
fucking expensive and time-taking.
Calm down.
Sean's your best friend.
Sean's my best friend.
Oh.
When we were playing Resident Evil 2, he was going to play the B scenario, and he was so drunk that he called it the beer scenario, and like we were calling it. So that's the backstory. But if that's the case, Sean will be getting an email if we're doing voice acting, yeah. So.
Right. See, the thing is, like, we didn't initially plan on that, so we didn't budget for that, because voice actors, like, they're talented motherfuckers. They totally, like, deserve.
We've ran across a couple that have emailed us.
Yeah, we didn't initially plan on voice acting, but we've been contacted by some very talented voice actors, including, like, Mel Gorsha. I don't remember her name, but she's really good.
Yeah, I think
So, like, that's kind of made us think again, like, oh, maybe we should do voice acting. But if we do that, it will come later, so we're not overcommitting or spending time on things that will make the game late. But
well, then I kind of like almost
we'll
like
have
a
to
Fire
see.
Emblem approach. I'm not sure if there's any other like mainstream games that did that, to where it wasn't like the full dialogue that was voiced, but maybe kind of like an interjection or something like that too. Where that'd be a little bit
just
easier
like-
for like file space and stuff like
Maybe
that.
an explanation of the lore.
Like hello and stuff like that.
background.
Yeah.
Hold
yeah.
on, I gotta text some of these people back.
I mean, it's something definitely worth looking into when we get like more money, but it's obviously like actually finishing and making the game comes first, and extra fluff is extra fluff.
Yes.
Let's see. Somebody asked, will you be recruiting any more team members to join Team Elysian Shadows? At this point, no, we're not looking. It is possible in the future, especially once, I guess we get closer to having to handle like all the beta releases and managing like that community and stuff like that. We may be looking for somebody to help with that.
We'll have to recruit another.
If we're getting another artist, then I might as well just go completely bold. Because, like,
Wait, you're not completely bald? What the fuck?
I just have like very receding
form.
I thought you shaved your head anyways.
Yeah, I'm shaving my head.
Dude,
yeah, I'm shaving my head.
I'd keep it all the way bald, just like male to male, like fashion advice, keep that shit shaved.
I mean, that's what I do, because like my hairline, it goes like up to here basically, so I'm just shaving my entire head. But if we're getting another artist, then I will just lose everything.
You used to have that avatar with like your full head of hair, and like the first time that you swapped over back to your video feed after you shaved your head, I was like,
I know, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
I was like, this isn't Patrick.
Hey, what was the last question again? I don't remember what it was, but I feel like I had a very good response to it, and I'm kind of...
Patrick, you're like the tallest Dwayne Johnson there ever was.
The question was, are we getting more team members?
No, actually, depending on like how we do like in the next week, reaching our stretch goals, some of those stretch goals were actually going to involve recruiting new team members, like the ES Online one. I'm not dumb enough to commit to that without like.
I mean, I could figure it out, but there's no way we can make a game and do that at the same time.
There's no way we could make ES Online in this time period without bringing on some kind of networking engineers so that Tyler and I
don't have to focus on it. Yeah.
Right, so that we can work on the gameplay-centric portions of the code and the engine itself while the network
just delay us even further if we had to also do that. It's not beyond our scope to do so, but
right. So it totally depends on how we do.
Well, another thing is, we would love to kidnap Dan and Patrick at least and bring them over here. If we could, sneak somebody into Russia and steal Leandro, that would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic.
Convince Connor to leave the frozen waste of the north and come down here.
Frozen waste
in like a desert. It's hotter here than it is in Alabama.
Hey, bro,
I'll just give you a hard time. I couldn't believe you showed me that beach that day, man.
I'll let you shoot my shotgun like I let Dan shoot it.
Yeah, and dislocate your shoulder.
Dude, that was awesome.
Take you out shooting. I know someone that's got an M16. We'll go.
All right, next question.
Anyway, will you be going to Kotaku, IGN if they don't mention you soon? Yes.
Dude, I won't, I'll send them, fucking emails just guys, why do you hate us? What the fuck? What did we ever do to you?
Strongly worded letter.
You're hurting my feelings, bro. I don't get it. I don't get why we're not considered newsworthy. I just don't get it.
Somebody else asked.
Because her name's not Zoe Quinn.
Damn!
Now we're really not getting on there.
Because we didn't get hacked
sealed our
50.
Thank you,
God.
Connor. Now we're never gonna be on fucking IGN or Kotaku.
Yeah, now we're dead.
Somebody else asked, any news on merchandise such as T-shirts?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are literally working on that right now. Well, we're not literally working on that right now because we're trashing a live stream, but someone on our end who's helping us out managerially and financially and shit is.
I mean, me and Patrick, we can design T-shirts, no problem.
Exactly. So that was something.
I've already designed T-shirts. I mean, not for Elysian Shadows specifically, but I got the experience.
Well, that doesn't really help us for an Elysian Shadows Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we had always intended to add T-shirts, coffee mugs, Adventures in Game Development branded merch,
and Elysian Shadows branded.
Yeah.
I want
that's
Elysian
working right
Shadows
now.
mug
Oh,
myself.
also, I wanted to say today we're opening up everything the Kickstarter and everything to accept bitcoins,
and PayPal,
cryptocurrency, PayPal. We're opening it up to accept basically any form of monetary fucking donation monetarily, so that.
Very articulate.
So much English.
but since we hit the goal, so we won't have to refund you in case we're not funded. Basically, we circumvented that whole shitty scenario. So yeah, you guys can give us. You can give us money through any avenue right now.
Yeah, so going back to T-shirts, we want T-shirts. I wanted an Elysian Shadows T-shirt. Come on.
I do too. All right, well, all right.
Go to these cons and having our own booth and panels and stuff. I think.
I totally want to be Elysian Shadows theme T-shirt at least.
Posters, T-shirts.
Dude, you guys remember John Romero used to have a Doom shirt, and on the back it says I wrote it.
Yeah, really, dude? I want that.
Hell yeah, just a developer on the back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. By rough estimation, how many milligrams of caffeine were consumed over the course of development?
Jesus.
Oh, I don't think you can measure that in milligrams, bro. I think
you need a much bigger measurement than that.
It's got to be metric tons, and it's not even just caffeine. It's more caffeine. Okay, I'll shut up now. Caffeine, cocaine, whatever keeps it going. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Only legal drugs.
Yeah. Let's see. Will you guys potentially create some more educational videos? Absolutely.
Yeah. As part of that, one of the videos that we really wanted to make before we even did the Kickstarter, and then the Kickstarter just kind of took off, and then we just didn't have time to do it because we've been so fucking busy doing PR for the Kickstarter, is we wanted to make one of our most popular videos this day is the getting started in game development videos, and honestly, we're so much more intelligent now and so much more seasoned as developers that we have truly quite a bit of legitimate advice that we can add and share with the world that weren't covered by those videos. So that's definitely one we wanted to make. And another one that I kind of feel morally obligated to make is a how to run a successful or pseudo-successful Kickstarter campaign to kind of give that.
At least give you the advice that we've learned from this.
Right, because let me tell you, you don't just put a fucking Kickstarter out there and it gets funded. Oh my God, no! It is an endless game of chess that you must stay one step ahead of every fucking day. It is.
I mean, I feel like I'm qualified to run for like Congress now. Like,
Oh yeah,
all these politics and everything else. Like,
vote for me for Senate.
Yeah.
Yeah, every one of us has been doing so much press constantly these past,
like you did like the VK stuff, Leandro. Like that's a whole other side of social media that I don't even know exists.
No, seriously. Once we launched the campaign, our jobs literally became full-time PR and marketing, and that's the way it has to be if you're going to launch a successful Kickstarter campaign. And like honestly, I want to see people be successful on Kickstarter because you supported us. Like I really want to share that knowledge and wisdom with you guys. So look forward to that video.
When should the beta access backers expect access to the SDK? Personally, I'd like it to make a mini game with it and submit them. Final Fantasy VII had a game center with a bunch of mini games. I think it would be awesome if ES had the same thing.
Well,
I agree with you on that.
Dude, that's a fucking good idea, dude. Like we release ESTK and like if they script up like a badass mini game, like we can have like the fucking U arcade like in Shenmue, like you go to arcade. That's a really badass idea. Who said that?
Latch Game Dev. I mean, we talked about it already, and we had a couple different ideas that we came up with just for like the beginning kind of fair like that. Like I wanted to have like some like midway games or something like that you could go and play. I mean, I think it would be really awesome and very early on in the game show like the versatility of our engine and everything else.
That's actually a really good idea. And honestly, like I said, the game itself won't be ready for beta testing until probably further down the line, whereas the tools will be ready much sooner, so look forward to that. And actually, that's a really fucking good idea now that you mention it. So, okay, like, here's some added incentive to buy our beta package.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess we should, like, we'll have, like, a competition for, like, who can make the best mini games with our tools and stuff.
Why not? It'll encourage testing of the software.
Hey, maybe those of you with Dreamcast with like the SDK can like make your mini games support like the maracas and the fishing rod and shit like that.
Yeah.
That was already.
You got all those accessories figured out. You could publish what you know about them in the forums.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
Someone else asked, when you release the SDK, do you plan on doing an instructional video series for it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like
you can do that.
Absolutely, and obviously it's going to have to be well documented with all the fucking HTML, doxygen bullshit for the API and all of that I'm not particularly looking forward to doing, but yes. Yes, absolutely yes, to whatever the previous question was.
Let's see. Is the SDK included in a Steam purchase of ES even if they didn't back the Kickstarter?
That's a good question that I don't think we've formally considered. Why is someone calling me on Skype right now?
Misclick, sorry.
You motherfucker!
What?
I already, I instantly killed it. Shut up.
And I'm so tipsy, dude, I'll just click anything.
I believe the answer to that would probably be yes.
I don't
see why we wouldn't. We just have to figure that out. So.
Right. I believe the answer will be yes, because like I said, we want ESTK to basically like, and not only do we want you to be able to like make your own games with it, we kind of wanted to let you like create your own. So creating your own games and stuff with ESTK will totally take like some level of coding knowledge or coding expertise. But if you want to create basically like add-on content for Elysian Shadows, kind of like your own levels or your own, I don't know, like
extra adventures.
Yeah, your own like areas and stuff.
Whatever.
We wanted you to be able to do that with almost no programming knowledge, you know, to where like it's not just that you're creating like your own game, you're actually helping us like build Elysian Shadows in that aspect. So.
I remember like the days.
Important question then.
Oh God! Don't.
Wait, no, from me. Shut up. Don't worry. Don't panic. If we're going to release ESDK on like Steam as well as the game, are you going to integrate Steam Workshop API so that players can easily share their creations through Steam?
What in fuck's name is the Steam Workshop API?
The host for mods and user-created content through Steam.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's something that it enables you to share the mods and easily install them. It's one click and
for Steam, absolutely. I mean, we would have to have another place to do that for like Dreamcast or somewhere like that. I don't know if we could use that as our sole resource for the user-created content. I mean, that's why we had the stretch goal of hosting our own. to make that a little bit easier to transition between, like, say, PC and Dreamcast.
No, that's an awesome idea. Then, if that's the case, then we'll support all the APIs all the days.
Also, achievements and stuff through Steam as well, and that'll also be included on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Oh, speaking of that, like, guys, seriously, if you're on Steam and you're in this chat, go to our Steam Greenlight campaign and please give us a yes vote. Right now, that Steam Greenlight campaign is so fucking important because if we get greenlit, that's another really big shot at us for hitting IGN and Kotaku in the big press. Like, right now, that Steam Greenlight campaign is like, it's almost more important than Kickstarter that it gets greenlit right now. So please, God, fucking, like, support the Greenlight and tell all your friends to yes vote and post really nice comments. So I feel good about myself.
Well,
the original Fallout games icon was a photo of the lead developer. Can we get a set of fun, ridiculous icons to exchange with the official Elysian Shadows icon?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Why not? If you want a picture of me on your desktop, you can have it.
Well, no, I think
I want a picture of Tyler on my desktop.
I
We included
a
seven custom icons, and it's just like each one of us, whichever one.
I want a picture of Leandro because he's like a sexy beast on the team. I feel like, or Dan, either Leandro or Dan. All right, next.
Well, Scott and Connor would have his scarf on anyway.
Falco, just add me on Snapchat, fine.
Dude, do you have Snapchat?
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, I do.
Let me add you. Yeah. That's...
New bromance flourishing.
Oh, shit, I've got a whole bunch of new Snapchats.
Question for Connor.
Oh.
If you had to recommend one piece of music you've written, or at least one album, what would you tell us to listen to?
Okay, well, all my music is on connorlinning.com or youtube.com/ORTmusic.
Good stuff.
I mean, I'll pick a non-ES song because everybody's probably heard the ES music, hopefully. If you go to my first album called Mirror Image, there's a song called Scion. It was the first song, and it took me 4 years to make that song. And there was so many tracks in the song. I think there's like 300 or 400 tracks in that song that when I would load it, it would crash my computer every single time. So the song's literally not finished. But I don't know, I'm really proud of that. And what I want to do with at least one song, Elysian Shadows, is take my new computer and just make it crash because I spent so much time messing with it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm going to go grab myself
a little bit of history right there.
Yeah, I don't even know. Wow, that's legit. I'm
going to join the party and grab myself a brew. I'll be right back.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Why not?
I can't wait to see him get his ass eaten by zombies in Resident Evil because, like, he's...
Well, he wanted to do a knife run. Like, I guess he didn't consider the bosses. Like, he doesn't know what he's
doing.
Dude,
and Code Veronica was not easy either, dude. Like, I feel like that was one of the harder ones, dude. So, go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to play Metal Slug X, but for some reason I can't screen share, so...
Next question. Would you guys consider bringing on a video editor so you can make adventures in game development series more polished? Well, first of all, implicit within that inquiry is the fact that you are insinuating that the series is not currently polished.
Or edited.
So and I'm the one who edits it. So, like, I'm slightly...
Our fans actually like a little bit more of the raw footage. I mean, anytime that we've done those high production videos, like if you're talking about like the chapters that like James and Jared and stuff, I mean, it was such a distraction from development for us to be able to sit down and do like those transitions. Like you remember like the blue hexagons? I did all of that by hand. Like it took ridiculous amounts of time to come up with that stuff. And like to give it that really high production value, like we have to stop development and work on that for several days or for a whole weekend. And like, we were still working our jobs. Like we can't do that.
Right. I feel like
are we going to bring someone else to do that for us?
No, yeah, that's actually a legit question. And the thing is, like about a couple months ago, like back when
we had someone offer.
Chapter 21 started, like we wanted to get someone to edit Aegid for us, you know, so that we could focus full time on just developing and they could be like polished and stuff. But like I think the thing was that like we couldn't find anyone who was like with a video editing background who would take us seriously. They thought like, oh, these are just some kids on the internet making a Dreamcast game, you know, they didn't want to commit. I think now, you know, I don't know, that we've made 300 grand on the internet, we might have a much better chance of like attracting some like video
Is that a
editing
red stripe?
hotshot.
Jesus.
Yeah, baby.
But then again, I wonder, is it actually worth it? Is it like, wouldn't it be better just take the money that you would spend on video guys
I'd
and put it
rather
in game development?
invest the money in the game development, because I mean,
Yeah.
like right now, like when we produce these videos anyway, like it's usually like late at night on a Saturday, or like, you know, we'll start it at like 11 and like edit it and like render it out and start uploading it at like crazy hours to like, if we involve somebody else in that process, we may not be able to do it as quickly as we want, because more than likely they still have an actual job, you know, and they're kind of doing it as like a hobby or a favor to us. And even if we paid them, I don't know if it would still take precedence over anything.
Yeah, and another
I think
thing
it would
is,
really ruin that cycle we've got.
and another thing is, like, you guys don't appreciate like how much effort I actually put into video editing, because it's actually a pain in the ass. But like, you have to get an editor who understands the essence of what made Adventures in Game Development awesome, you know? Because there is a lot of stuff that I do, like the montages, like music overlays, and things like that.
Specific cuts on the scenes.
Yeah, that are just part of they're part of our style, like for Adventures in Game Development. And we have to get someone who's actually an AGID fan, not just like some fucking like film student who wants to like get his name out there. You know what I mean? To kind of continue the style that we've established.
Long story short, we wouldn't mind it because it would be a relief of some work from us, but we would like to maintain control of it because we don't think someone else would do what we do with it right now.
So if there's there's a video editing hotshot out there who wants to shoot me a resume, I will look at it when I sober up.
If your resume contains skill with keyframes, then I'm sure you'll be hired.
Oh, the fucking keyframes. Also, if anyone
dazzled us with his keyframe experience when he was
if anyone,
nope, he knows what he's doing. Like, I'm out.
Also, we use Adobe Premiere if anyone wants to shoot us a resume. We use Adobe Premiere and After Effects, so you have to be well versed in the fucking Adobe.
I feel like everyone knows Adobe Suite, so you know that's an issue.
I'm just saying we don't do this in Windows Movie Maker or iMovie. So.
All right. Next. Connor Linning, Scion.
Yeah, somebody posted his song.
That's the link to the music.
That's the link. Okay.
Good times.
What? I have no idea what that link is, but like I'm in the middle of a live stream, so I can't really follow that link. Does someone want to like?
Connor's music that he was talking about earlier when someone asked him about a specific song.
Oh, word.
That's the link.
Yeah, come on, next question.
Oh shit! Snapchat.
Falco said PayPal is supported now, but I can't find any option to Kickstarter. Where are we supposed to transfer the money to? I know 3 others that want to transfer the money via PayPal.
Okay, I lied.
Literally in the works right now.
I lied. PayPal is not supported yet. It will be supported right after this live stream. Like, that's one of the first things we're doing is we're opening it up to PayPal. And it will be on the site, and we're going to put out a Kickstarter update. Wait, you can't get the Kickstarter update if you're not already pledged to Kickstarter, because you wouldn't be because you're on PayPal.
Wait, so how is it going to be? Is it going to be through the Kickstarter or through our website? Is it going to be separate?
No,
but PayPal is on PayPal.
PayPal's through PayPal, but there will be a link on Kickstarter, basically. Like, don't worry, we'll put out.
Side note, Dan, you did get that other Bitcoin wallet address. I emailed you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's an interesting question after. Will you guys continue making AIGD after the release of ES? I can't read, sorry.
AIGD.
AIGD, Adventures in Game Development, after the release of ES.
I don't see why not.
I don't
either. We'll make, I guess, videos about our next game and some about
expansions.
Well, it'll be the stretch goal. We'll be working on it immediately after the release because we can't invest that kind of time in during the normal development.
It's Adventures in Game Development, not Adventures in Elysian Shadows. So
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
very good point, Dan.
That's also assuming Elysian Shadows doesn't fucking kill us to make, but you know, as long as one of us is still breathing, I think we'll continue.
Out of the 7 of us, somebody
I don't want to die. I still want to go to Vegas and get like some prostitutes and stuff. I want to do that before I die.
Jesus.
There's also the
because how else is Patrick gonna get laid, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean obviously
Patrick, we'll give you the same treatment we gave Dan. We'll just take you down to Panama City and show you the toy box.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously some monetary incentive has to be in play, so you know.
Oh, you'll enjoy yourself. It'll be what you remember of it will be fantastic.
Just to answer the question though. When you release a game, I imagine that we're going to be doing all kinds of PR and we'll be going to do all kinds of stuff because you want the game to actually be successful, right?
Right, yeah, you have to promote it.
Shit!
Bro,
you
are getting your ass kicked.
I know. So
Did
you
you ever
don't
find
want
an
to
option
just
for
end
moving?
adventures in game development when you release the game, because we also want to cover what happens after we release the game, right?
Right, because that's still part of it. Okay, all right. Next question. Sorry, I just got a Snapchat.
Hey, Lucas.
Was it
It's from
Dan?
me.
Is it Luke?
Jesus.
It's not Dan. I wish it was Dan.
Oh, David Burns just asked, if I challenge the entire Elysian Shadows team to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, would you guys do
Dude,
it?
fuck yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, man, I have seen all of the ALS videos, and I watched them, and
John Carmack did it.
I fucking believe in that shit, man. Like, I don't care all the press who are like, oh, you're just doing this for attention. First of all, fuck you. You know how much money that shit has raised? I was already going to do an ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, but I was worried that people would be like, oh, he's only doing it to promote his Kickstarter. He's only doing it for a PR stunt. So you will get my ALS Ice Bucket Challenge right after the Kickstarter. Like, absolutely.
What's an ALS challenge? What does it involve?
Maybe what's the disease to begin
Have you
with?
seen the people dumping like water and like ice and stuff on themselves for fundraising? Have you seen that?
That's not hard.
Right, but it's to raise awareness for not for ALS, but for kicking ALS's ass. Like it's a devastating disease, and like not only will I fucking do it, but I will also contribute $100 like as soon as I do it as well. And then I can't wait to challenge certain other YouTube game developers. Hint, hint, hint.
Hint. Okay, I'll do it. I'll throw a bucket of cold water. That's not
Fuck yeah, dude. We all have to do it, man. It's for a good cause. It really is.
Yeah, I'm
See,
down.
somebody asked, can you talk more about your ideas on starting a studio? Is that something you planned on doing, or would you prefer staying indie and homebrew? I mean, Elysian Shadows.
Interesting.
See, that is like I don't in my mind like us.
There's no difference for us.
I mean, it's kind of a studio, so.
In my mind, us starting a studio doesn't mean that we're not indie. Like, because sure, we'll be a studio, but we're the exact same team that we were like when we didn't have the money to like be a studio. You know, so like even if we start a studio, it's not like we're hiring all these people. Like we're still just a group of like dysfunctional dudes just trying to make.
Studio is just a tax ID because we have to give money.
Right, and we have to copyright our intellectual property before all of like the copyright trolls try to like.
Yeah, the people who try to.
Yeah, and then if we have a studio, then we could actually go for a working visa for me, so I could go and live in US and be in the studio physically. So
Yeah.
that's
Patrick,
Come on, Patrick.
Patrick, you keep saying that. I don't know if you're ready for the US, bro. Like, ask Dan and Leandro, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready for the room, man.
Mirth.
I've been living in a country that literally was on the war, 20 kilometers away from no man's land when people were shooting each other. I'm pretty sure I'm ready for first world country.
Yeah, I think you're ready for that.
There is a war raging
really
next to my country currently. Come on, bro.
All right. Next question. Do any of you coders have smaller side projects that you work on when you lose your sense of motivation? I've recently found that I can't stick to one thing and stay motivated for a long period of time when things are going slower than desired. That is a really good question. And like the thing is, so I'm in graduate school and I feel like very passionately about continuing my education and like continuing to learn. So what I always do is when like I'm not like particularly motivated to work on ES or something like that is like I'll branch out and do like a side project for graduate school, like. But what I do is I always try to find some way to work it back into Elysian Shadows, right? So that I'm still like working on like my cohesive vision, and I'm still progressing in that sense. Like for example, my focus in graduate school for my master's is GPU computing and GPU architecture. So like my last class, which I had to drop and take an I in because this Kickstarter took so much of my time, and I'm gonna have to make up the work this semester. It's basically GPU processing. We're using the GPU for general purpose computing. So I thought of my final project for that class is basically I'm going to write a broad phase collision checking algorithm for like binary space partitioning and stuff for efficiently handling a shitload of bodies, handling contacts, fuck, I'm drunk, and choosing the minimal collisions to check against that. And the thing is, that's something that Elysian Shadows really needs. So, like, not only am I fulfilling the, like, academic credits that I need for my master's degree, but I'm developing something that is, like, perfectly relevant that can be put into Elysian Shadows. And that's also how the physics engine itself was born. So, like, yeah, I do have, like, side projects where I branch out, but, like, part of my trick to always stay motivated and always keep ES new and fresh is that I try to always find a way to incorporate them into Elysian Shadows so that the game and the engine grows with me as a developer, so I'm always emotionally invested in it, if that makes any sense.
What's nice about Lua for me, too, is, like, you know, prototyping, like, these different systems, like an inventory system or something like that. Like, I can get really frustrated with, like, some pathfinding or some behavior. Take a break from that and just work on, like, GUI elements or, like, even, like, researching, like, spell effects or movements or something. Like, I got really mad one day working on part of the movement stuff for the slimes, and I was like, I'm just going to go play, like, Mega Man X.
Fucking so Tyler texted me. That's funny.
And I decided just to go work on, like I said, play Mega Man X, was working on the dash, feeling like Castlevania too, like the dash effects of like Alucard. I was like, this feels good, and I went back into the game and was playing around with like the physics of Julian and everything too, to try to really perfect that. So like, for me, it all kind of ties back in. I mean, there's so much that we can be working on for like gameplay at any given point.
Leandro,
like,
what are you
that
drinking?
really helps me from burning out. I mean,
yeah,
anything we can be doing.
And that's a really good point too. Like even like I just mentioned like the coding aspect, but if I'm really burnt out of code in general, like another thing that I feel like I'm very personally and emotionally invested in also is the storyline for Elysian Shadows. I can't
play something.
I can't fucking do art for shit. I can't do music, but I like pride myself in being a pretty proficient writer. So like, you know, I can take a step back from the engineering aspect of ES, and Tyler and I can like start writing the story.
The design doc and working on characters and stuff
so
too.
That's pretty.
Also, is Leandro, you have 2 alcoholic beverages? Is that what that was?
Yeah, I finished.
Yeah.
So I've gone to get some beer, which is Peroni Chill Lemon.
For a second.
Hey, drink up, bro. You've earned it. Just drink. Just drink.
I'm sorry. I should have probably answering more questions. That was a nice question, actually.
It's cool.
Wait, Leonardo. Because you know the thing about being burnt out is definitely like it's just any creative field and big programming or music. So what actually, what are you doing, Leonardo, to keep yourself from being burnt on Elysian Shadows? Because I'm interested
can
in
you
that.
repeat the question? I'm sorry.
What are you doing? Like, when you're getting tired with just doing this pixel art all the time, what do you do to do something else? Like, I mean, do you keep yourself occupied?
I'm on holiday right now, so I just go to the beach or maybe talk with people. I've got friends in here in Italy.
Go ahead.
Whoa. Leandro has friends, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but during
I never
holiday
learned
time,
that.
I don't just do Elysian Shadows. Especially,
How dare you have
it just happens. It just happened because we're on. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just because we're on the Kickstarter. Then that's why.
I'm just trolling you, man.
Happening.
Oh, yeah,
I know. I've got a couple real life friends that are watching this that I haven't seen in like 2 months, and they're like, "Yeah, he doesn't have any other fucking friends."
All right, next question.
Yeah.
I don't have friends who aren't on the internet. Well, actually, I do apparently because Charlene and Aaron, if you're already home and you're watching this, I love you so much because they just gave us an 18-year-old scotch.
Slightly woke up to scotch,
and it is absolutely delicious. And it's the reason I'm not all here right now.
Somebody
I'm
asked.
not even home. I'm at a friend's home, and he's not here. So I've got the keys, and
you just drinking.
I'm
all
just
the
getting
liquor?
drunk here.
That sounds like a really
the
bad
live stream.
accident waiting to happen.
All right. Next.
Come home, some guys in
So
your house
the
drinking in your
hangover
internet.
Sorry. And the thing is, my parents probably are watching right now, or will be watching. on
Yeah.
YouTube
My
later.
parents should probably be watching right now too. Hey, mom. Hey, dad.
We're so proud.
Yeah, they're so
I'm
proud.
proud.
Their son is drunk on the internet. Okay, all right. Next question.
Are you worried about the $100 per backer limit for the Ouya for the games fund? It appears that your average is now over $108.
Actually,
No.
I'm kind of worried.
I think when these other big sites report about us, like IGN and Kotaku or whatever, like when they do that, like we'll hit like the more, I guess, generic gaming audience where like they will contribute just the $15 or $20 for the digital copy of the game. They're not like diehard Dreamcast fans or anything like that. Like I know a lot of our Steam purchases were just the $15. So I think it'll naturally like equal out.
For people who don't know what he's talking about, guys, someone needs to turn their shit the fuck down. For people who don't know what he's talking about, as part of our Ouya deal to double our 150K to 300K, we have to have a certain backer to funds ratio where the average amount contributed to our Kickstarter per backer has to be below $100 per backer, and we're actually a little bit above that threshold right now because so many of you, I guess, like really love us and gave us a lot of money. But I'm not too worried about it because, like, as we get more popular, like in the gaming press, we still have a week to go. The people who haven't been watching us, like on Adventures in Game Development and stuff, those are people who are more likely to back for like $15, you know, or the bare minimum. I feel like
which is fine, and I think it'll just organically.
Exactly. I feel like organically it should level out before that.
I mean, we can get our friend or family to back $1, so
yeah, I've got a couple people already. Ryan helped reach out to a bunch of people and ask them to, like, hey, if you haven't already pledged, like, we don't want to ask for that. Like, please don't purposely go and do it. If you want to pledge. But I mean, every little bit helps, and if you can't give enough for like a digital copy of the game, throw $1 at us.
Yeah, I might find some hobos on the street and be like, yo, bro, I need $1. Here's $1 back.
Someone asked.
Wait! You're gonna ask the hobos for $1?
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll give them $1 and then my smartphone and be like, look, bro, like sign up real quick.
Someone asked who isn't drinking. I don't think Eddie is.
Eddie.
Patrick is
celebratory Cocoa Puffs.
Eddie's 12. I don't think he's old enough to drink.
Patrick is drawing, so he has to.
I need to fix this goddamn.
He was drunk as hell last night when he called me on Skype after the live stream.
I wasn't drunk. I was actually tired. That's me when I'm sleep deprived.
Dude, you were out of it. I didn't realize. I was like,
all right. Next question. We need to quit the drunken bicker. Question.
What do your parents think of you guys?
God damn it! I've had a question in my queue, and people keep interrupting.
All right, fine, go.
All right, question for Falco. Kind of off topic, but why do you hate Java so much? You mentioned it in game development getting started and said nobody should use it. So a couple things. You have to realize that during game development getting started, I was 12 years old basically, and I was arrogant as shit. I'm still arrogant as shit, but I'm no longer 12. So it's not so much like I take it back, you know, if Java is your language of choice and that's how you're making your game, like that's cool and all, but I still really feel as though like if you really want to get serious about game development and you're serious about breaking into the industry, Java and a language at like the whole JIT level of abstraction where you have no control over direct hardware access, direct memory access, memory mapped I/O or any of that, that's really the wrong direction to be headed in. I'm not saying you can't make amazing games with it because look at Minecraft and look at what Notch did. I'm just saying like from a purely engineering standpoint, because I'm an engineer, I'm a low-level guy, like the majority of game development engines and stuff are still in C and C++ and statically compiled languages. That's all I'm saying. But if your goal is just to make a game and Java fits those needs and you know Java, then by all means go for it. And please ignore my arrogant ass. My youth. I will update that video.
But then again, if you just want to make a game, then why not grab Unity and make a game in Unity and learn like Unity script?
Then do it. You know, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to become like an engine developer or like an engineer level, or you want to really break into the industry, like there's no way around it. C and C++ are the way to go. If you just want to focus on making a game and things like that, then yeah, knock yourself out. Use any tool to get the job done, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Also, Tyler just texted me again.
Yeah. What do you guys think of, or what do your parents think of you guys? As far as I know, they're proud as shit. I don't think, I mean, anybody could see like what we've done and be like, I'm disappointed. Like, I'm not really sure what kind of question that is.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I think my parents, you know, like we get a lot of shit for being like dysfunctional and being on the internet drunk and shit. But guess what? We just made 150K, and I'm the good son, guys. I'm in graduate school right now. I'm successful despite all of my shortcomings as a human being. So. I think my mommy's proud of me. I would like to think.
My mom bought me a cake.
Yeah, I'm jealous of Eddie's cake. I haven't gotten a cake yet.
I know, dude. Mom, where's my cake?
I have a cool story when we were talking about parents, though, is that my musician name is Connor O.R.T. Linning, and my parents' first names start with R and T, so the O.R.T. means ode to R and T, so my name is actually a tribute to my parents because they're the best.
Are you serious?
True story, bro.
Oh, the feels.
So Canadian.
So
I
many.
just won that
I
one.
can't top that. Jesus. We're
Yeah.
done. End the
So
stream.
much
That's
feels,
it.
man.
I need another drink. Jesus.
I think I've had enough for today.
All right, next question. Would it be
Praise
possible to open source the entire engine as a stretch goal?
People want that so badly, but like,
I
I mean, that's the whole reason why we're releasing what we are of it. I mean, I don't really trust anyone else to take our software and do what we've done.
Right.
Like,
It's
that's
possible, but guys, like this is like literally our life's work, you know. So like we're not like super fucking like eager to just like open source everything and throw it out, you know. Like we still want some kind of like.
I mean, that's why we're releasing what we are.
Still
plus
like
the
I
Lua
realize
API, and we want to continue to update it. That's why we wanted to have like a little bit of the royalty if you choose to use it in an actual
yeah,
production.
that's why we want to
help support
we
it.
want to keep creative control, like to some extent, so that we can assure that it's like quality and we can keep developing it. You know, like if we just open source it, then anyone can just take our shit and like adulterate it. You know, like I want to keep some level.
Like, I mean, we've been on YouTube this long. We're not going to go anywhere. Like, is when we're doing this development, especially with the engine and toolkit, say like after Listen Cheva's release and stuff. You know, if the community really needs a certain feature or something like that, and there's a huge demand for something like that, like why wouldn't we do that? Like, I mean, that would be the point of us updating it to help the software grow with what the community wants and needs that way.
Right. So. All right. Next question. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Will libgyro be made available as well as the engine and toolkit? Actually, yes. And libgyro might be made available before the two, but the thing is, like, we couldn't come out and say, like, oh, we're releasing libgyro because the majority of our subscribers and the majority of the gaming press are not programmers or developers. Like, they would not appreciate the I don't know, the magnitude of why that would be badass, you know? So yeah, that is definitely the plan, and we want to see you guys like implement libgyro on other platforms. And libgyro will be fully open source. It needs to be. Like that's the way it was.
That's the whole point of the
whether the engine is or is not, libgyro totally will be, and that will probably be released before the engine. So who knows? Maybe we will already be on the Wii U from someone else, like, and we didn't even have to do anything. You know, that was the whole concept behind libgyro, was that it was an API and a framework that like. We could release the source code, and basically you could implement it on the fucking Virtual Boy or whatever you want, the Sega 32X.
No, please not.
And then you know, and then everyone else's software runs on it. It's like everyone gains from like teamwork with libgyro is kind of the concept. So yes, that will be open source.
Somebody asked, is the ESTK game engine agnostic in terms of game mechanics? Will we be able to make our own game mechanics to fit our own games? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's the entire point of the Lua API to begin with is that like when you get the engine and the toolkit and you get this published documentation from the Lua API, like you're basically tabula rasa, completely clean slate, and you can do anything you want. Like what Falco said in the video releasing the ESTK announcement. I mean, one line of code. It's a 2D platformer like Mario or Rayman or something like that. One line of code. So I mean, you can do whatever you want, you know. And then
you can make a third perspective shooter.
Yeah.
It would be very easy to make.
Very easy. I mean, like.
Yeah, you can make it.
I'm sure there'll be examples of Lua scripts and stuff included with it, and of course our forums will be like the place you want to go to ask questions or to work with the community on that kind of stuff too.
Right.
So.
We want to make a whole community around that. So. And like as we've been developing the tools, you know, we've been consciously trying to make it where it's not just tailored to an RPG.
It's not just for us.
it's not just for us, and it's not just for RPGs. And we're going to continue with that mindset. Like that's something we've always had from the beginning, which is why we've been able to say, okay, we'll release these tools to you guys. So.
Yeah, to where like you literally just aren't making just ES content too. I mean, you can do almost anything you want with it. It's incredible.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Do you think there's a chance that a major technical issue will come up and ruin the entire release of... Somebody click that.
Oh, we have a
doubter
here. No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, there's a chance. Like, I
but
think
we've prepared for that. I mean, we plan knowing that, like, where we need to be between now and then. I mean...
There's also a chance that they're gonna be run over by a bus. But we also plan for that.
I think
actually,
it would
I have no contingency plan. If Patrick gets hit by a bus, it's over.
Yeah, basically we're screwed.
Actually, everything that I did is like inactive backup, so anyone can actually take over and do what I did. Whether they actually be capable.
Secretly, that's our plan. Why we want to move you to Alabama, so we can just lock you in a room and ensure your safety for the next year and a half.
Also,
they already prepared a room with like pillows on the walls and on the like door with
It only locks from the outside. It's fine.
Yeah, there is no doorknob.
I always joke around that if I die, the team is so fucked because like there's such density of C++ 11 variadic templates in my code that like they need to find like a template god to replace me. So if any of you in the audience are like very C++ 11 savvy and template savvy, then when I die through this campaign, you need to be the one to like apply for a programming position for ES.
Yeah. There's a...
Come on, Falco, don't die. We'll keep you alive.
I'll try not. But I mean, that is a legitimate question. I think we would be complete arrogant sacks of shit. Not that we aren't already. To say that, like, there's no chance.
Something always happens.
Right.
I mean...
Right, and another thing that is we have the Adventures in Game Development series, and we want to be, like, completely honest with you so that you can see...
It's not going to come out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you can see what we're working on. You can see, like, what we're running into. You can see, like, oh, shit, like, they're a little behind schedule because of, like, A, B, or C. You know, we don't want to take your money and disappear for a year and just like a year from now be like, oh shit, we're running late, you know? Like, shit happens, we know shit happens, you know shit happens. A lot of you guys are developers yourselves, you know? We really want you to be able to see that, and we want to maintain that level of transparency.
Well, that's also why we extended it to 18 months too, is we thought that was a much more honest goal versus just like a year.
Right.
So, you know, we gave ourselves a little bit extra time that way when we weren't originally planning for that extra bit of time. So.
Right. All right.
Also, Charlene asked us a question.
How did you guys meet? That's an interesting one.
Oh, is that Charlene?
Yeah.
Hey, Charlene. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you and Aaron for the scotch.
Love you. Thank you so much. You're the reason I sound like an idiot on the internet right now.
So I think you and Falco and Tyler, you knew each other from the very beginning, right?
From middle school, like 5th or 6th grade in middle school, we met. We used to ride the same bus, man.
Right.
Yeah, well... So Patrick, I think, found about you on the internet with the Adventures in Game Development. So did I.
Actually, with me.
No?
You gave us a bunch of concept art, or we found you, or something, didn't you?
No, with me it was actually through Reddit posts. Like, there were those brothers on the team, and one of them was dealing with like recruiting people. Sorry.
Yeah, James and Jared. James and Jared. Yeah, I remember we were looking for artists forever. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know they made posts on Reddit, and I basically joined through Reddit originally as concept artist, and then I learned pixel art because we kind of needed also game assets. As for the rest, well, your stories.
Well, I was starting my own Adventures in Game Development inspired video series, which was called, I think, Making a Trading Card Game, in which I was making my own trading card game, but then I found out that you were in need of a new pixel artist, so I applied for the job and then eventually got it.
Yeah?
I think like you actually originally like you did that your own version of our Facebook banner, which I remember was like slaving over to make this Facebook banner, make it pristine. And then this guy comes over like he did. Okay, so this is what I did. It's like 10 times better than
I can make it better.
Yeah, it's like well.
No, it's really funny. Like all the emails we got from like the remote guys on the team, like the first thing we get is like an email like, hey, your guys' shit is like kind of rested, like I can help you, look what I can do. And like I remember like Tyler and I look at these emails, we're like, who are these audacious motherfuckers? And then we're like,
well, they'd fit.
Then we're like, I like this guy. I like this guy.
They have a point.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? They have a point. We need them.
I joined a team because I just got out of Alcatraz, and I saw Patrick at a shoe locker trying to buy sandals, and then I gave him mine.
Jeez.
And then he was like, "Oh, you can make beats too? Damn!"
True story.
I left my sandals in Panama City Beach, by the way. I'm so upset. Side note.
Oh, so there's some famous sandals hanging around Panama City Beach.
Yes, somewhere like they are continuing the legacy.
They're probably set up on display at the toy box, bro.
Probably. I probably sold them for a couple more ones.
All right. Next question before we have to expound upon what the toy box is. All right. Will the ESTK/engine be paid for platform for feature Unity 3D, or we have a small upfront cost for engine ESTK? You know, I don't know about the whole pay for platform like thing.
Yeah.
To me, like that seems kind of sleazy because it's kind of like
That's what LibGyro is for. That's the point.
it's
the
kind
idea
of like
behind it.
you're prioritizing platforms. Like, oh, like Dreamcast is the elite platform, and you have to do this when like the entire point of like our engine agnosticism. I know that's not a word, but I'm saying, is so that like the entire community can benefit. You know, like the Ouya guys can benefit if someone wants on the Dreamcast makes more content. So I don't think that like any of like the fees will be per platform. That's just kind of
I mean, we treat the game as a singular thing. I mean, regardless of what platform it's on, it's all one.
right. And I feel like that's kind of disrespectful too, because a lot of like there are so many people who backed us like for different platforms. You know, there's guys on mobile phones, you know, who aren't going to be playing on Steam or on Dreamcast, and I'm not about to like fuck them out of user generated content, you know, because we're charging extra for people to develop for the mobile phone. I don't know.
Well, that's another reason why we structured the stretch goals the way we did, because a lot of, like, if you look at a lot of Kickstarters, they'll do, like, Wii U, Xbox One, PS4, and that's giving, like, some sort of inherent value to that system, saying the PS4 is better than the Wii U or something like that. You know, we grouped consoles and then, like, handhelds kind of together like that. I mean, to us, it's all the same. I mean, if we were going to put it on the Xbox One, put it on the PS4. I mean,
right.
It's the same generation console.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
If you guys could start the project from scratch, what would you do differently?
I'll speak from my perspective. What I would do differently is I would develop ESTK first. Like if you go back and watch Adventures in Game Development, like there is a very clear point in time. I feel like you can see from Adventures in Game Development, which is where this project started to really get serious. And I think most people will probably look at they'll probably look at chapter 21 and see the dynamic lighting, and they'll think that's when the project got serious. But actually, that's not true. The project really got serious chapter 18, 19, and 20, because that's when we completely revamped the toolkit. Because the thing is, you can have the greatest engine in the world, the most capable engine, but if you don't have a user-friendly toolkit that exposes that shit in painstaking detail to the artists and makes it user-friendly, then really you can't do shit with your engine. And I feel like our focus on ESTK and Chapter 18, 19, and 20, although you can't see progress on Elysian Shadows, that truly is when we got serious about the project, and that truly is what's taken us to where we are today. So, like, in that respect, those were really pivotal chapters in our development process.
Let me just say, doing any of the tweaking of animations and things like that entirely in Lua and not in the toolkit like that, without like user interface for tweaking that kind of thing, kill. Like that is so ridiculous.
And that's gonna be the biggest thing. Is right after we're funded, right after all this Kickstarter madness stops.
We are funded.
We're actually not
actually.
Okay, yeah. Well, after the Kickstarter's done, we're not just jumping into the game itself. We're actually making the first thing we're doing is we're releasing a new build of ESTK to streamline the development process and work in all of these tools so that like we're working the most efficient way we can do it through the duration.
Giving Patrick everything he needs, so I don't have to mess with it.
I mean, really, the toolkit in that sense is the most important piece of software for developing Elysian Shadows.
Yeah, like the good thing is that we have some sort of the toolkit, even though it's not like the perfect, it's like still something, so we can still Okay, it's like it's orgasmic, Falco. It gives
all right, I'll take it.
Huge raging burner. It's good, but it could be better. And it's still like it's good that we have at least done, because we can still do arts. At least game-wise, I and Leonardo, we don't have to wait for the next revision of the toolkit. We can still work on it.
Yeah, you don't have to wait on me.
We can work on it. Yeah,
there was a point in time where art literally did have to wait for the toolkit, and I think that was the biggest mistake I ever made as a developer. And to this day, I'm a fucking retard for doing that.
Hey, Marcel actually asked a question.
Hey, Marcel, what's up, bro?
Man?
Oh yeah, Marcel Gergers.
What was the largest donation?
I don't know.
$9 grand?
I don't know.
Yeah, somebody threw like $9 grand at us.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom. Too much caffeine and
honestly, like, not trying to be disrespectful to the person that did that, I can't remember. I'm a little intoxicated. But yeah, somebody threw like $9 grand at us.
Who donated $9 grand? Was that the person that bought my painting?
No, the painting went for 1K, right?
Oh, it's just 1K. Okay.
That was day one.
Dan Pichard asked a question too. And this one's the Falco game. Hang on, I'll wait. I guess I'll wait.
Basically open source, easy.
What do you think of Sony's indie friendliness as of late? Is awesome. I'm very excited to see these bigger, I guess, companies like Sony and even Nintendo trying to be more indie dev friendly. I mean, it's a big deal for us because that means we'll be able to publish onto those consoles. But I think it's bigger because it shows that like the market is changing. I mean, it's not just about these AAA game titles that are like the next Call of Duty, swap out some textures, add like a dog, and like, oh, we got another like $70 title. Like indie games, I feel a lot more intimate than that, you know. And there's all these ideas coming out that you normally wouldn't get in just a normal AAA game title. Which don't get me wrong, like especially games like The Witcher and stuff like that. Like I love these huge games, like it's some of my favorite. But it really, I think, is bringing in new life into the market like that, and it's really exciting to see.
I mean, no, it's nice to have variation. Like, I like AAA games. Like, everyone likes AAA games, but I also like indies. So, having ease of access to both of them
that's why I love Steam.
is good. Yeah.
That's why I love Steam, being able to see all the crazy stuff that comes up on there. I think you get a much better sampling of ideas and things like that, too.
Yeah, I have actually separate Steam lists sort of for the games that I specifically want to try out, just to from the game dev perspective, because those are games that might be not the best games, but they're really great to learn stuff.
Right,
And the very idea that you can just do that, imagine 2000 or the late 90s. Imagine being able to just buy a game not because it's good, but because you can learn something from it. There wasn't even games like that back in the day.
No,
so that's
and Tyler and I have definitely built up a huge list over the months of games,
research titles.
Yeah, of games that we want to play strictly for research. Play these as inspiration. What did they do well? What did they fuck up? What can we work into Elysian Shadows? What do we want to avoid? Part of this truly is playing games and researching. You can't make a good game if you're not a gamer, and you can't pinpoint exactly what aspects of games make them great.
I mean, it's been a couple years since I played Legends. I am so excited for Mega Man Legends again.
Being able to do the same on consoles, that's be huge. I might actually buy consoles just for research on the games, because I never had a console when I was
Hey, if you come stateside,
I still don't have a console. The only console I have is a portable Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I mean,
I
have Mega Drive, alright, yeah.
Hey, the Mega Drive is a console.
I don't even type.
Dude, the Mega Drive?
I was young and stupid.
Alright.
I was young and stupid. I don't have any console now.
Right. Hey, Dan Bachard asked you a question while you were gone, Falcon.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if you do an open source ESGAMO, you can still be the man and control the main branch like Linux does, or Linus does.
Yeah. I knew. Dan, get off my ass. We'll see, though. We'll see. I haven't planned for that, and that's a whole bunch of extra overhead. I mean, yeah, that's true, but also I need to moderate the main branch and make sure people aren't taking my work and fucking it all up and adulterating it. No offense, but that is a lot of overhead, and especially when we're trying to actually develop Elysian Shadows. So
when and if that happens, it'll be very close towards the end. If not after.
No, it will be after. If we truly go fully open source, which I'm not discounting the possibility of that, it will be after ES. So.
Do you guys do anything in the way of automation, such as automated tests?
Well, we're supposed to be, but fucking Eddie here fucks it all up every day, all day.
Whoa, what?
We gotta get a different server.
We don't do any automated testing.
Well, not in terms of automated testing, but we do have a Jenkins.
Yeah, that's the question.
He just wanted to turn it around and hate on Eddie for a second.
I do.
He loves it.
We have an automated build server, right? And the goal is that when we check in code, we want it to shit out builds for Windows, OS X, Linux, Ouya, and Dreamcast, so that if I change one line of code, we can't sit here and break every fucking platform like Eddie loves to do, and that's the whole point of the automated build server. But Eddie doesn't have it all down yet.
Except most of the time it's not working is because somebody kills the server or something.
Right. We live in the middle of nowhere. I can't help it if somebody decides to hit a phone call.
And now it's really important, especially because like the majority of our backers are on the Sega Dreamcast. It's really important now that we all get like broadband adapters and really integrate the Dreamcast into.
I need to get an Ouya and set it on my desk too.
Much more intimately. Like right now, the Ouya is very intimately integrated into our workflow. It's not part of the automated build server yet, but it really needs to be. And then same with the Dreamcast. Those are.
Yeah. I've got mine sitting on my desk, but like, I mean, we've been at Falco's studio using them, like the single ones he's got for so long.
So that's going to be one of the first things we do.
Yeah, I can add that.
Sorry guys, there's this question by Oju Sama. Why is Patrick the hottest team member?
You know, I often ask myself the same thing. I'm kind of jealous.
Wait, what? What's the question?
Highest member. I guess because you're bald, or maybe
even Patrick's like astounded.
That's Poland.
He's from Poland. Maybe.
Dude, I'm totally like.
He's charismatic. These guys.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, it's this unshaven look, those patches of like little hairs here and there. Yeah. You know, I work hard on it. All right. It's like I work like half of my day is just trying to look good.
It's those 3 push-ups a day. That's what it is.
Dude, those push-ups are hard, all right? Like, those are legitimate push-ups.
All right, dude, you know, real quick, you know, you hit the big times when you're chatting with a member of the gaming press who's at a LAN right now, and they're arguing about who will get to do the first interview with us after the Kickstarter.
Nice.
Awesome. Oh yeah. Marcel said, "Is that Code Veronica?" Like.
Yeah, Marcel, yeah, that is Code Veronica. Hey, Marcel, by the way, Ron came over, and Ron contributed quite a bit to ES, dude. It's awesome. We've been talking with Ron, hanging out with him. He watched the X-Files with us, and he's been giving a lot of good advice.
David actually asked another question. If there was one thing you could change about the video game industry as a whole, what would it be?
Kill Phil Fish.
Probably some of the press. Granted, there is a lot of press out there, especially the like friends we've made during this journey. That you know, we've become really close friends with some of the press, like Niche Gamer, 2-, Blaine Humphreys, and Brandon, and like some of these other sites like Kotaku and things like that. Like, it is their job to report on stuff, but I don't feel like they really do it justice. Like, I mean, especially like the day before we launched our Kickstarter, they released that article about why Kickstarter sucks and it will never work, and all the games that come out on it are terrible. And I'm like, really? Kotaku?
All the Kickstarters are scams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is their opinion, and I respect the fact for them to say what they want, but like that, I don't think it's necessarily valid. Like,
I mean, it's very uneducated, and it's basically a clickbait opinion. The problem is that a lot of the big press articles, they're strictly clickbait, and a lot of the press, either they don't even know, like, in-depth gaming and game development especially, because let's be honest, like, if you're even a movie critic, then you at least know something about how movies are made, so you don't talk out of your ass. But gaming press does it on daily basis.
Yeah, I think.
And you know, to make them justice, because you know, so people won't go hate on me. Like, there are people who genuinely know their shit, but there is a lot of more who don't.
Yeah, there are, and
I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in the gaming press, but there are just so many that it is diluted to that point.
But also they put priority on like drama or like, you know, the stuff that's been on recently.
Yeah,
like
the Fish stuff. Like they put such a big deal on that.
Phil Fish steals all the press right now for being a douchebag. Yet here we are, like fucking like just
making
got
history, literally,
and like nope, none.
No, but
I
like,
don't know, like
gamers are usually kind of nerdy like me. And like we just don't care. The reason we like games is because we just want to know about games and have fun with games. We don't care about drama and about all this stuff. Like that's the problem, is they report on stuff none of us care about.
Right. I think personally, like I would.
That's why Niche Gamer is so awesome. By the way, everybody check out
Niche Gamer, the best gamer.
Yeah,
Niche Gamer is the
best. Check out 2-2. Like I think we got a lot of like press support from the people who are like the real gamers. And I think there's a big problem in the press where, like, we come out with a Kickstarter with an outrageously high goal of 150K, like, promising to be on, like, the Sega Dreamcast and, like, promising the world. And, like, all of our YouTube fans know, like, they've seen us do this on Adventures in Game Development. They know that we know what we're doing, you know? But like to the gaming press, they're not programmers. They don't know what it takes to make an engine. They didn't bother looking at adventures game development. To them, like, we're a fucking joke. We're like, are these guys seriously thinking they can pull this off? You know, so I feel like they haven't even bothered to report on us because of that. Whereas, like, the reason we're so ambitious is because we grew up fucking doing this, and because we're fucking computer engineers for a living. You know what I mean? And there's just
that
like
segues into the next question too.
there's just this disconnect between press and developers. I feel like that really fucks the developers over, and it's just unfortunate to me how much like the gaming press plays into the success of developers. Like, to me, that's just.
Dan, do you want to add anything? Because like I interrupted Dan before, so I can feel bad. Dan,
you interrupt fucking everybody.
No idea.
Falco does too. You just got to learn to talk over top of him as well.
What was I saying?
You sack of shit.
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
All right, next.
We heard the story behind the ORT and Connor ORT, but what about Supersonic?
Get out!
Bringing it back to chaosrift.com.
Do it!
That's
Damn.
why I still go to our forums, by the way.
Yeah, like way back in the day, like my current handle is Gyrovorbis, which I've actually kind of outgrown that. Like I'm trying to be known on the internet by Falco Gurgis just so people know who I am, and like on Facebook and shit, people know me by my real name. But like my very first handle was Supersonic, and that was because like that was back when I was like fucking 13 years old, because like I was so obsessed with the Dreamcast, and like I'll never forget, like, in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, when, like, you beat the game and, like,
oh my God.
you're doing that final battle with, like, Perfect Chaos or Biohazard or whatever, and, like, the fucking Chaos Emeralds circle around Sonic, and he fucking, like, turns fucking Super Saiyan in yellow, and, like, he's Supersonic, and, like, this heavy metal music starts playing. Like, I just thought that was so fucking awesome when I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, I'm Supersonic.
Just make sure you don't mention your old secret username of Supersonichu.
What?
The real reason is.
So that's where that came from. All right, next
The real
question.
reason is because Zero Cool was taken. That's why.
Yeah, Zero Cool.
Estimated system requirements. That is hard to say for sure. Like, I haven't sat here and like looked at like exactly how shitty your computer can be to run ES, but it should. No, it should be very low, because the thing is, and the way that we're architecting the engine, you should be able to turn off the dynamic lighting and the bump mapping and a lot of these special effects, because certain platforms won't be able to support all of this stuff. So we had to architect.
The Dreamcast, so any system requirements.
Well, I mean, there are still like PCs way shittier than the Dreamcast. Trust me, like I have some. But like
the server.
But yeah, and the way it was architected, you can turn off a lot of these fancy effects, which basically means like you can run it on some ancient shitty hardware, and that's kind of the way we want to keep it. And that's.
I think we like once we release the game, we could actually host like a competition who can run Elysian Shadows like 60 FPS on the shittiest hardware possible. Like the oldest PC that you can find, like PC from a dumpster or something like that.
Like, good luck, have fun, what your results are.
Hold on, I got a Snapchat. Continue.
Let's see. I'm reading through some of these questions. If somebody sees someone, grab it.
What do you mean you're reading through them? Shouldn't? Oh, they're not prioritized.
Yeah, they're not prioritized.
Charlie has a question.
Why do they keep doing that?
Now, what did she say?
I'm Tyler and Falco.
I think they are prioritized, but that's it.
Hang on, shut up, Patrick. What? What was the question, Dan?
I know Tyler and Falco quit their day jobs. What about the other guys?
What do you guys actually do for a living outside of ES?
Yeah, Eddie.
I'm a pesticide applicator. It's pretty metal.
Actual things for a living.
That is pretty metal. Yeah, I think Connor for a living just plays through Resident Evil. That's all I've ever seen him do.
Between that and Harry Potter, I mean, that's...
Yeah, dude, I'm doing a knife run right now while watching you guys do a live stream, so it's okay. I'm doing okay.
In caution, yeah.
You'd be doing
it, aren't you?
Well, I don't know about the other guys, but I've been actually mobile developer for Android, and then I also was freelancing as an artist as a side project. But obviously, once the Kickstarter, like once we around like 2 months before the at that month before Kickstarter, and in this month here, I like quitted everything else, and I went 100% Elysian Shadows. So I also quit, quote unquote, my job.
And we're trying to move his ass to America here, so basically he can live in the closet, and like we'll slide Lunchables
He's already in the closet though.
and he can be our code slave.
Basically closet. Like I've seen American closets that are bigger than my room, so you know.
Oh yeah, I've
I mean, we'll get you the
closet,
equipment
bro.
you need too, so it's not like, I mean, you're just in there by yourself. Like, you'll have like the nice tablet or something, whatever you need. Just, you know, this is your room.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can fit like, you know, 3 computer screens in the closet and the desk, and you know, maybe a bed, I'm set. So.
Oh, and that's pushing it now.
We were Tyler and I were already talking about turning the bathroom in the dev studio. It's actually a huge, like, walk-in fucking nice-ass bathroom. We're turning that into Patrick's office. You can sit on the shitter and, like, do your art from there.
That'd be pretty awesome. If you can put a fridge in there as well, that'd be perfect, because my
fridge.
My biggest problem is that I have to walk away from PC to A, make a coffee, and B, take a shit. So, you know.
Yeah, dude, that's my problem too. We need to put a coffee maker in the studio, like.
Dude, I just got this image of Patrick on the can eating a chocolate bar out of the fridge. That's not a good image.
Oh, God, dude.
A big
You should
mood.
draw that.
Okay, all right.
Moving on.
Next question. All right. What decisions made you choose the amount of 150K for Kickstarter? That's a good question, and I know now how audacious 150K was. You know, at the time, I don't think we realized how audacious it was, but it was a very honest goal for us. We looked at my expenses. We looked at Tyler's expenses. We would both have to quit our jobs and work on Elysian Shadows. And we're still taking pay cuts. We would both have to quit our jobs and work on Elysian Shadows full time to be able to feel like we're doing this game justice and not half-assing it. And then we also needed money to be able to pay the artists to work as well. So like that's really
which is basically my living and Leonardo's living as well. So it's like 4 people.
Right, which is where that money came from. I mean, like it really wasn't a number we pulled out of our ass. And I realize it sounds audacious, but you have to understand, like this game is our dream, and if we couldn't make enough money to do this full time, then I'm not gonna like half-ass Elysian Shadows.
No, this is all or nothing for us.
When like I have to have a real job that takes all of my time and stuff like that. So that's where that goal came from, and like I don't.
Plus part of these stretch goals and stuff, you know, like I would love.
Yeah, and then producing the physical goods.
Stuff, so. I mean, it'd be awesome to do
producing and shipping the you know, everything for the shit physical. That's also a big part of the cost.
Right. Let's see. Somebody asked for Falco and Tyler. What has been your favorite, most rewarding feature or gameplay mechanic you've implemented thus far?
You want to start? Okay. I've kind of been asked this before. For me, it has to be the dynamic lighting engine, and I have like very personal reasons for that. I think before the dynamic lighting engine, Elysian Shadows, when you looked at it, it just looked like a very old school 2D RPG. Like it didn't look special. It didn't look like we were innovating anything. And I think a lot of people just wrote us off as like, oh, this is like some game maker game. This isn't a big deal. Like they're wasting
the turning point visual.
They're wasting all this time on this game. But like once we really started doing like the next gen look, and we rebranded ourselves like that, and we started doing like the crazy bump mapping, the dynamic lighting, the dynamic audio engine. I think like I could easily see a lot of people who like brushed us off suddenly be like, holy shit, this game really is something different. They really are like innovating. They really are pushing the envelope. And like that was just so rewarding for me emotionally, because like a lot of people, you know, didn't think this was a big deal. And to be able to see like basically the entire internet go from like unanimous pretty much apathy outside of YouTube to, oh my god, like that game does look really good.
Finally clicked with people that we were really 3D.
Right, and it was nice.
We already were, but.
Right, that I could show off a screenshot to Elysian Shadows, and like the majority of the internet and our audience could unanimously be like, oh fuck, like I see what they're doing here, you know, like that was just very rewarding for me, very.
I think the biggest, most rewarding gameplay mechanic for me was the Lua-based state machines messaging system to control the like autonomous entities that we have. Seeing like these different creatures or NPCs and stuff finally come to life and have, you know, obviously like a predefined set of AI rules and terms and conditions or whatever, like to where the game environment can be happening. You know, I could be interacting with them or entering and exiting combat, and they know what to do to either like try and chase you down and attack you once they get close enough and things like that. Like actually seeing those elements come to life, and it was, I think, probably my biggest turning point when I'm like, how about we make a game? Like, this is incredible.
I know.
I mean,
there was
huge.
a point in time, like after we implemented Lua and all this lighting, where like, you know, we've been working on an engine and a toolkit for so long, and it had all come together and it was beautiful, and like Tyler was doing things like in Lua, and
I knew you were like, what the fuck?
I truly did not know you could do with like this engine and toolkit that I created. Like when I look at Tyler doing things, and I'm as like the architect and engineer of this shit, and I'm like, I have no idea how the fuck you did that. That was just like mind-blowing.
Some of the scripts I'm not entirely sure myself. It's fine.
Like I still like Tyler will have crazy ideas, and I'm like, yeah, fucking you go for it. I have
closing up all the stalls and stuff for the Kickstarter video.
Yeah, I have to admit that's pretty awesome.
That was a little intense, not gonna lie.
Did we answer Charlene's question about us quitting our day jobs? What about the other guys?
I thought we did. I don't know if Dan or Eddie.
Yeah, no, I think we did. Okay. I hope we did, Charlene.
I haven't, but I would like.
Okay, go for it. We're trying to convince Dan to like pack up and move to America, basically. We took him to a strip club and we spent a lot of money on lap dances to talk him into it. Oh, and we let him shoot a shotgun, and we took him gun shopping to show him what America's all about. Convinced him to leave the motherland.
Let's see. If the Dreamcast never existed, and I know this is blasphemy, but which console would you have chosen to develop for?
Oh my
PC
God.
excluded.
Oh my! If the Dreamcast never existed, I don't know, man. I don't know that I would be where I am today. Yeah, truly, like the Dreamcast is what started it all for me. It was the fact that I could develop a game for a console. Like back in the day, there was no App Store, there was no indie support for PlayStation, there was no Xbox Live Arcade. Like console development in the era of PS2, GameCube, and Xbox
was not a thing.
Except
for Dreamcast.
Yeah, it was reserved only for big companies. So like, the Dreamcast was basically a dream come true for indie developers like us, because it was literally like, I have the ability to code for a console, and that's really what like clicked. Like, oh my God, like let me teach myself C and C++. I don't know that like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know that we could have gotten into console development without the Dreamcast. I'd have to say it would have to be, we wouldn't have been able to get into console development, so it would have had to have started off more like a mobile phone app or something like that.
Probably some
or
sort of
Xbox
maybe.
Live Arcade.
Unfortunately, the PSP may have taken the spotlight at that point, because that was the only other console.
Yeah, maybe so. So like, yeah, I shudder to think what would have happened without Dreamcast.
Jesus.
All right, next.
I hate how this doesn't sort these by like upvotes.
All right, I think this is the latest. Okay, there are PCs way shittier than the Dreamcast, quoting me. So you're saying I'll be able to run ES on a Pentium 2 and Riva TNT? Actually, there's a chance. I don't know for sure. I need to see the specs on that. On this monstrosity you're describing, but there is a chance. There's a chance that with no graphical effects and no programmable pipeline shaders.
Yeah, pre-rendered graphics.
You'll be able to do it.
Right now, the highest voted one was how long will the main story be? Maybe around 40-ish hours. Is
I'll let you instead. I gotta use the restroom.
Straight through the main story, like if you didn't do any side quests, no walking off the beaten path kind of things, like just main story and that's it. About 40 hours is what we wanted to shoot for.
Which is a horrible way to play RPGs, I might add.
It is, and I really don't think that'll be the best experience in the game. I mean, obviously, whether you intend to or not, you will end up doing a couple side quests just because of getting into the story through the characters or not really kind of knowing where you're going for a minute there. Like, I mean, you can get to a town and you have a couple different avenues you can go through. Maybe you're investigating some sort of event, like you're not sure which one will actually lead you to the next step, too. I mean, we're going to inevitably do some sort of side quest, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to go through the game...
that way,
yeah.
it'd probably be closer to like 100 hours.
If you're gonna go through the game of progression, like, my heart's bleeding. Like, it's going to make me so sad.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be like some speed runs or something like that for like the Let's Players out there that'll try and beat that estimate, so we'll see. It'll be exciting. We were talking about that yesterday, actually, for like the Let's Players and stuff. You know, we'd love to, when we get to that point, actually give away copies of the game for Let's Players and like see people play through our game and watch the reactions. That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude, I wonder like how people gonna glitch the game because like I saw some speedruns and they're like entirely around glitching the game.
Point. The whole point of the beta and everything else too is it shouldn't be glitching anything. We'll see though. We'll see.
I need more coffee.
I don't know how long have we been on the air here. Let's see. This one's got +7. Will there be stealth mechanics like Thief or Deus Ex?
If I have anything to do with it.
I mean, we wanted. What was that, Dan? You said Metal Gear Solid? Is that all I heard?
I said if I have anything to do with it. Yes. Yes.
I mean, Connor's, you know, a huge influence from survival horror. Dan loves Metal Gear Solid. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't have some missions that would pay homage to that kind of thing where, like, you know, you obviously have to, like, sneak around and maybe you get, like, a cardboard box or something you have to hide in. Like, that would be awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like we can definitely do it, but it's a matter of, in the end, it's a matter of, like, playtesting and seeing is it actually fun and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true. But fun has precedence over cool, what we think is cool mechanic. I mean, it's got to feel right, but I believe we could do it. It's within our capabilities.
Oh, everything.
Leandro?
Capabilities.
You're muted. Leandro, you're muted.
Oh,
He's muted. He keeps unmuting whenever he talks.
Oh, the coffee's cold.
sorry, but we have the jump mechanic, which approach an enemy from different places. Straight on and from the upside, you know, jumping to another platform or something. So
Yeah, like jump down onto somebody or whatever.
Exactly. Probably
Like some Assassin's Creed stuff, yeah.
I think I personally really like the design of being able to approach the situation from multiple angles. So let's say if you have a quest of talking with someone who's hidden in a house, then you can either like try to break your and he's guarded by lots of guards, like I don't know, some sort of wealthy merchant. Then you could force your way through, killing everyone on your way. You could maybe sneak in through the window or something like that, because we could make like those jumpings. So, you know, you could jump from, like, other roof into the balcony, or you could try to talk your way through, or, you know, try to dress up as a delivery guy delivering pizza. Like, I don't know. But I like the design of doing, like, multiple approaches to the same problem.
I don't know about the pizza delivery guy, but yeah. Go.
Somebody asked us a question on that Kickstarter the other day about like class mechanics and stuff like that, and then part of my response to him, oh shit, you died. Part of my response to him too was that, you know, we wanted to allow the player to play the game within reason in a manner that they wanted to. So if you were playing more of a like kind of a stealth-based class or something, you could do that, or you could kind of go in like guns blazing. You know, it really comes down to player gameplay. You know, like how they want to play the game too. You know, we just have to be able to prepare for, you know, those different corner cases, which is fine.
All right, let's keep going, dude. I see a bunch of like really good questions. Actually.
Yeah, somebody asked, so if Ouya doubles the gold, then does that mean we'll be getting the Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One ports? Not necessarily, because we don't get all of the Ouya money up front. Like, even though they are going to give us that, like it's time release. Like we get part of it now, part of it when we release, and then we get part of it after the exclusivity.
We get 75K up front, which is half, and then we get a quarter later when we release. I think like a demo to the App Store.
25%,
and then the other 25 after we've actually, I think. After we've actually done our period of exclusivity for 6 months, is that when we get the last quarter?
Yeah, we get the last quarter.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so that's what it is. Hold on, I saw a question about...
Patrick, by the way, that looks amazing.
Hey, real quick, because I wanted to address this.
Yep.
Hey, so when are we partying? Let's all flock to Alabama. All right, so I said this on Facebook, and I'm completely fucking serious. Next weekend, we're going to have a gigantic, epic, fucking, like, reached our goal party. And we're going to live stream it for all of the remote people. And anyone who wants to drive down, just bring the email, the confirmation email for backing ES, and that's your ticket to this party. Like, we want to personally thank every one of you, shake your hand, get shit-faced with you, talk about ES, like, accidentally leak some storyline to you, whatever. Come hang out with us. Don't be shy. Like, seriously, if we've never met in real life, it doesn't even matter. If you're anywhere remotely near Huntsville, Alabama, like, totally come to my house and party with us. And we will try.
There is somewhere in this house there is hidden physical copy of our design doc, so if you get everyone drunk and you can actually search through, you might find it.
Shit, actually, he's right.
It's sitting right here.
We get like drunk and we look in the room and someone's like copying all the files off of like my Mac.
Taking photos everywhere.
Yeah.
Take it off for sharing the entire drive off the network.
We're gonna have to have designated bouncers for the party who are like watching all of like the digital, like all of the Macs and stuff while we're drunk.
Just walking in the trunk of my car.
I was there for a month. It'll be fine. Don't worry. If you've never met them in real life, you'll be totally fine.
It's a little surreal.
Are
It is.
there reasons / ideas for the religion / magic / technology concept to your game? This is an interesting question, actually.
You're cutting in and out, man.
Yeah, dude, you're
be a little bit louder and move your mic.
There's the question from Charlene Robinson. Are there philosophical reasons / ideals for the religion / technology?
Oh, is that Charlene? Oh.
That one, yeah.
I feel like she knows the answer to that question.
Yeah, she does. Yes, Charlene, there absolutely are. We wanted, like, you know, we spent so much time on this game developing the tools, developing the engine, really, like, pouring our hearts and souls into this emotionally. We wanted a storyline that was, like, something more than just, like, a shallow, like, superfluous, like, experience that's completely, like, disconnected from reality. We wanted something that was, like, truly making a statement that was truly relevant, like, to modern society and to the lives of people who are playing the game. So, yes, there are a lot of like philosophical implications and moral dilemmas in our storyline that we purposely put in there to mirror like reality, basically. And that's something I want. I want people to play this and be like, holy shit, like this storyline and these characters are very deep for a 2D RPG. That's really one of my ultimate goals. I want you to feel like...
Yeah, it started out as a storyline concept.
Right. It's all about emotional attachment and the feels, and like, I want the feels.
The storyline is really one of the things that made me stay in the Elysian Shadows team, because there was a time where I wasn't really sure what to do, and when I read the design document, it really hit me. It's so intense, the storyline. I won't reveal the details, but it's so...
I didn't know that.
Shit, I didn't know that either. Well,
I wasn't really sure what to do next. There was a problem with the art.
Astounded at the storyline.
I still don't know the storyline.
yeah, Eddie refuses to read the design doc.
I don't know that thing.
I'm just staying because I know it's already going to be awesome. So
I mean, it is.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody asked if we can extend the number of people who can back the tester.
Are we out of the tester? You're not the only one who's asked that. Are we
yeah,
out?
there were only 25, I think.
Guys, just so you know, if the tester's out, all of the tiers above the tester also include the tester. Because we didn't because otherwise, like, what the fuck would be the point of pledging more money if you can't get the testers? Like, if the tester's out, you can still get like the spectator and all of the higher pledged goals, and we're still going to give you private development access. But yeah, maybe we can consider doing that. Like, the thing is, like, we didn't want, like, no offense, but we didn't want every fucking person ever to like be testing ES, you know, when like we know we have bugs and stuff, and we don't want like every person like on our ass about that, you know. Like, we wanted to keep it like more close like group of friends, you know. Like, we wanted it to be like a game development family. But I know we have a lot of like close fans who would be like emotionally invested enough to help us do that too. So yeah, we might consider adding more, and don't forget, like, the higher level tiers will totally
include that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Still Virgin 69.
No.
What?
There's a question about Still Virgin 69. Will he be in the game?
Yes.
That's Sam's.
I don't know why the fuck everyone thinks I would be willing to be in a Dreamcast game. The Dreamcast is dead.
Jesus.
Guys,
Someone said, I'm so freaking proud of you guys. I've been watching Agid since like the second episode. I remember being 14 years old programming along with watching the engine grow. Even now as a professional engineer, I get so stoked to see your updates.
Jesus, who is that?
Awesome. Jeremy Stover.
Thanks, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So much feels.
So many feels, yeah. Like, yeah, we grew up with a bunch of these people. It's crazy when you think
We
about
may
it.
never have met you in real life, but like, I mean, seeing these kind of comments, or like, I've recognized so many people from like YouTube comments, seeing
Yeah,
the
I
pledges, or,
know
like,
people.
on Steam, like that's crazy. Like,
I know people from years ago. Like, I recognize their YouTube handles, even if we've never really had conversations. I know people who've like been commenting on our videos and like following our progress since like I was a fucking teenager. Like I know names on YouTube. It's crazy. It's crazy.
now here's one for Connor. Can you explain the covers of your albums? Also, it's awesome that they can be downloaded for free.
I guess my solo albums.
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain one because it's actually kind of funny. The first one, called Mirror Image, it's a picture of a girl, and if you look closely at it, it's because I have a friend who really likes Asian women, and I saw a picture of a really hot Asian girl on the internet, and so I took my cell phone and I took a picture of it to send to him and be like, "Hey, bro, check it out." So if you look at it, like carefully, you can see my hand holding the phone in the corner. And the big flash is actually the flash of the camera, and all the stuff that looks like dust is actually like dust on my computer screen. And that ended up being the album cover because it looks so cool. So if anybody wants to look that up, just look up Connor Linning Mirror Image. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well.
Got all those, like,
that was all
I heard was Asian chick.
Damn.
I was
Next
pulling that up right now to look at
question.
that.
Actually, this isn't even the highest voted question, but I already took it. Could I integrate libgyro integrate into a Ogre 3D game engine or another homebrew / open source game engine? Actually, yeah. I guess you could actually. Yeah. Shit, I never thought about that. Yes, you could do that. I mean, it would take some programming knowledge because obviously you'd have to be the one to re-implement libgyro on that platform. And obviously, I don't know why you'd want to do that because libgyro is totally more optimized than Ogre 3D. But yeah, you could totally do that. You could totally do it. Totally. Knock yourself out. That'd be kind of awesome.
Let's see. Somebody said 5 games that are the biggest influence to Elysian Shadows. I guess we could all like go down this list.
All right.
Let you go first.
Dude, I don't. There's so many games like these questions.
Leandro, we can't hear you, by the way.
It's okay.
I can see the mouth flapping, but no sound.
Obviously, Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana, like that should be taken for granted. But I think a lot of the other influences are like what really sets us apart because we wanted to include aspects of a whole shit ton of other games because we really wanted to take the 2D RPG genre to the next level with ES. And as part of that, we've been able to branch out creatively with our influences. So like. A lot of the jumping mechanic came from Mario RPG, Alundra. The monster training concept for one of the stretch goals came from Pokemon because like we fucking adore that game. A lot of the NPC day-night scheduling came from Shenmue because we loved the immersion there. A lot. I don't know how many people know this, but like for me growing up, Ocarina of Time was huge for me, but like Mega Man Legends, I owned that before I owned Ocarina of Time. That was a huge game for me. Like the way they did their ruins and the whole like bigger culture and environment, that's like greatly influenced the ruin aspect of Elysian Shadows for me. And like that's a game that like I still like truly love. And yeah.
And I guess for me we have
there's so many influences, guys.
The epic storyline like RPGs of like the PS1, like the Final Fantasy 9. They had like Legends of Dragoon was a big influence for me. Mega Man Legends. Castlevania was huge for me as far as like the kind of combat and like variety and spells and abilities and stuff like that. Phantasy Star Online was big for me. I love the Phantasy Star series. Talk about like soundtracks or stories that have like the feels.
Right. And then another cool one that Connor like can definitely expound upon is like as we've been developing, we've been able to include influences from other games that we didn't originally intend on including. Like, but when we saw like the dynamic lighting engine, we realized, holy shit, like we can use this to create emotionally intense scenes. We can use this to really like set the mood of a 2D RPG and make like these creepy environments in a way that I don't believe has been explored in 2D. So like we've kind of naturally been able to like include influences from games like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, survival horror games, yeah, like which we never fucking planned to do, but like it just kind of happened, and I really like the direction that's going. Like it adds a lot, I feel like.
Yeah. What about you guys? You guys want to talk about some of the other influences?
I'll go. I mean, two obvious ones: Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2.
Oh, really?
Donkey Kong Country 1, especially.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah. And
Ice Cap Zone, Sonic 3.
Harvest Moon and Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo, especially Harvest Moon. That's like ultimate feels the game.
It feels the game.
And like we all grew up like with, you know, like obviously we're in different countries, you know, some of us had a Genesis, some of us had a Super Nintendo, some of us were more Nintendo, some of us more Sega or Sony. So like we all had different games that really influenced us in our childhood, and like part of like what's awesome about creating an RPG, especially like ours where we're really trying to like push the envelope, is we can include like influences from all of these wide array of different games and genres into this one package. So I think every one of us really brings something unique to the table from our gaming background, and like that's why we're also emotionally invested in the project. Anyone else want to add?
I'd like to say.
I would say.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
No, Dan gets precedence.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. I would, without mentioning names of games, I would just say any game that made me feel a certain emotion. I would reference that. For example, Final Fantasy X. I almost cried at that game. So if I want to make the player, you know, burst into tears, I would reference Final Fantasy X. If it was something like panic or excitement, I would reference probably, although it's a different genre, House of the Dead 2, because I remember.
Oh yeah.
Could not beat that
King
game.
of the Dead. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say.
Which nobody else played except me.
Too late, Eddie. Sorry, you can't.
Darn it.
And it's a really good RPG series.
Which one is a good RPG series?
You're cutting in and out again, Leandro.
Yeah, Leandro, which series?
Yeah, I have no idea why, but like Google keeps muting you automatically, and I don't even.
Because he's cutting in and out. Okay, well.
Myself, so I'm not muted right now. I was talking about the Sea Dogs series. Sea Dogs 1, Sea Dogs 2. That's a great series of RPGs, and that actually I wrote not long ago that Bethesda made them, and they later made, of course, Morrowind and Oblivion.
Elder Scrolls series, yeah.
Right.
So, Eddie, don't skip Eddie. I want to hear Eddie.
We're waiting for Eddie.
We could
okay.
Go, Eddie. Eddie, talk.
I
Eddie,
just wanted to
talking?
All right, Eddie, you
talk.
I just wanted to say that all of the systems that Falco mentioned, I have not played on because, as he keeps saying, I'm only 12.
Why is he on the team?
He grew up with an Xbox 360. That's how cool he is.
No,
He's got an Ouya, I know that. He's got the special developer.
I do not like Xbox anything, but
say something to redeem yourself.
I grew up basically on the portables, so Game Boy Color and.
That's pretty good.
So Pokemon, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so we're all getting Omega Ruby and Sapphire, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Dev teams playing that together, all right?
Yeah.
And I did play on a Dreamcast as a kid, but I just didn't have one myself. So.
Oh my god.
Did you play Harry Potter on the Game Boy Color? That's the real question.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, well, Rebel Coder. Tech question: are you avoiding things like virtual functions and other C++ features that are considered performance hits, in quotes, or do you just use what makes your life easier and makes the job done and just compensate for any performance hits with the timing code? That is actually that is a very interesting inquiry, which I would love to explain. There's a huge trade-off there. No, I'm not just sitting here like going all out with C++ and virtual functions. And the reason is that actually like the Dreamcast is limited enough in a 200 megahertz SH4 ARM processor and only 16 megs of RAM that like really it has to be fundamentally architected to to be efficient enough to run on that. That's not something I can just half-ass at the last minute. So anything that is like basically per frame update logic that is called like continuously or every single frame, obviously I'm very very performance conscious. I'm only slightly drunk of those kinds of calls, and I generally avoid at all costs virtual functions there. But if it's something that's only called like on occasion, like when you talk to a certain NPC or like when a certain collision happens, then I actually do opt for virtual functions in a more object-oriented design. So like there's a trade-off to be had, because in certain scenarios it doesn't make sense to kill yourself and like go around the fucking established ways of C++ to save a few clock cycles when it's only one clock cycle every 30 seconds, you know, that you benefit from. It really only makes sense to do that level of performance optimization on per frame logic, and that's kind of something that we've embraced. So certain aspects of the engine are very object-oriented in C++. They totally embrace virtual functions and stuff. Other aspects are much more optimized. They opt for compile-time polymorphism through templates and things like that instead of runtime with virtual function stuff.
And you also avoid...
Was that legit? Did I answer your question?
No, that was good.
You also avoid all of the C++ STO, right?
I do. Actually, it's not all avoided right now. I'm trying to I'm trying to phase it out. But yes, I also try to avoid STL just because of the Dreamcast. You only have 16 megs of RAM, and there's a lot of harm that can be done with memory fragmentation and things like that when the STL containers are consistently like every frame allocating new or resizing vectors and things like that with new on the heap. That can really fragment memory and cause a lot of issues. So, hope that answered your question.
Let's see. Questions. Here's one with 6. Always been interested in Dreamcast development, but seems to be C++ for the most part. Is there a way that you could know that of a Unity user being their games to Dreamcast, whether it's C# or anything else?
Oh, that one is from Killswitch on Ouya forum. He's an admin.
Okay. Where I don't even see that question. Okay.
I grabbed it, so that's probably why.
Yeah, so it is mostly C and C++ because most of the Dreamcast development is very low level and it's like statically compiled. But like that's what we're trying to do with ESTK is we're trying to make most of the coding higher level scripting. So like in the same way that Unity is extensible through C# or Unity script, our engine is extensible through Lua, which is a much simpler scripting language that's interpreted. So that's kind of where
documenting and publishing the API.
Right, that's kind of where we're trying to fill that gap, you know. But yes, for the most part, right now, you really do have to know C or C++ and be fairly low level to develop in Dreamcast. Next.
Yeah, somebody can feel free to grab a question.
Okay. With the rise of open source education such as EDX, Udacity, Coursers, etc., what are your views of the actual benefits and value of a full-blown degree compared to a portfolio in the context of a video game development career?
Portfolio is way better.
Yeah, a portfolio is way better. Like,
don't get a game development degree.
Oh yeah, first of all,
don't get a game degree, no.
First of all, let me say, please don't get a game development degree. And the reason is that like there is not a studio out there who will not hire you with a computer science or computer engineering degree. You can do a lot more with a computer science and computer engineering degree. You can basically work anywhere in the computing field. Whereas if you get a game development specific degree, you've really limited like your scope of what you can do with that degree. And furthermore, like I'm very invested in academia just because like I'm nerdy as shit, and it forces me to learn things that I otherwise wouldn't learn. Like I would just sit here and only work on game development, but it forces me into like hardware and architecture. But really, like most of what I've done has been self-taught. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that a degree is absolutely required to do any of this because it truly isn't. So
no, I mean, the market's saturated for those jobs anyway. I mean, you figure, I mean, it's kind of, I guess to draw an analogy, is like similar to like GameStop employees. Like you have like that younger audience that like, you know, in high school, and I did it myself. I worked at a game store when, you know, growing up. They're like, you know, they'll pay you whatever and just pay you crap and treat you like crap because they know like as soon as like you quit or get fired, they got someone else like right behind you to fill the place. So like getting a game design degree like that really puts you in that niche, and you're not going to have good luck with that. Like, they would much rather find someone, you know, like Falco, who's like GPU oriented or something like that can do like that kind of programming to optimize whatever, and like, or find someone who's like really good at like AI or what have you, to where like they can kind of get these specialized people into those fields. Plus, like you said, that really diversifies like what you're able to do and where you can go with your degree. So like, if you find out game development's not for you after spending 6 years going to university for it, like, you're not pigeonholed into that. Like, you can still do something else.
That also all applies to anybody out there who wants to do soundtrack work or music work or whatever, is that do it yourself and having a portfolio is infinitely better than saying, oh, I have some degree and I know how to use a mixing board or something stupid like that.
It really is. Like, look at Eddie. Eddie is 12 years old. Like, I don't even know if that motherfucker has a degree, but like, when he came to us, like, he's a
professional Android freelance.
He has a legacy of good work, and like, I know he can do good work, and like, it has nothing to do with his age or his degree. Like, honestly, I could give less of a shit, but like, that really shows, you know, anyone who knows this shit is not going to be like, oh, you don't have a degree, you know, they're going to look at your previous works.
Yeah, same goes for art. Like, you know, having a degree helps, but honestly, whenever people are hiring you, they don't even give a crap about your CV. They just look at the portfolios. So portfolios would get you hired as an artist.
Plus, I know you guys feel the same ways, that when you're doing your university degree, there's other people graduating with you, and they have absolutely no idea how to.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh yeah,
people in the workforce like that have no idea that like
people are
like
so
coworkers.
I'm in fucking graduate school, and there are still people who don't understand how fucking pointers work. I'm like, dude, just fucking leave your degree at the door. Why are you here?
That's sad.
It is sad, man. Like, holy shit.
Especially when you can watch like a 3-minute YouTube video to learn how they work.
I'm a web developer, and even I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hate on anyone. Well, okay. All right.
Somebody asked, does this sound like the ES team will be writing books on how to not crash the toolkit, or sticky taping the toolkit to not crash, or actual game design values? We've considered writing a book.
Writing a book on how to not fuck everything up? That sounds... Well, I mean, like, first it's going to start off basically as online documentation for the Lua API, and then, like, we'll see where it goes from there.
Mostly, probably, really, the closest thing to that would be our Adventure in Game Development series, too. Like, watching that stuff, you learn what not to do.
Hopefully. When you see us crash it all. I did also, like, I've always wanted to be more active, like, on the website and, like, post blogs of, like, what I'm doing.
Never had time,
yeah, I just never had time, and I'm kind of, like, wanting to be able to do that. Because, like, I'm a very opinionated motherfucker, and I have all kinds of, like, philosophical, like, arguments, especially with myself, about, like, code architecture and design, and I'd like to have people included in that, so. Legit. Alright, next question. Come on, pick a question. They're totally not organized.
I know, I hate this.
Such a pain, dude. Like, they're nowhere near organized. Alright, pick one.
Is Eddie really 12 years old?
No.
I don't know. Eddie, you're like, maybe he's like 13, right? How old are you, Eddie?
Actually, confession, I'm 10.
Oh,
jeez.
Are you old enough to drink, Eddie? Are you old enough to drink?
I'm 20.
You're not old? Oh.
I turned 20 in May, so...
Yeah.
Well...
So if you drive down for this party next week...
I'll be the designated driver for everybody.
And he drinks, basically I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
Well, we live in the country, dude. Just hightail it to the woods. Like,
I already have a warrant out for my arrest, too, so, like... It's not.
So, yeah.
Somebody asked metric or imperial.
Metric.
Wait, what?
Metric.
Yeah, you're asking, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm used to pounds. I'm sorry. Like
I have a sister, like, for one of the cultures, by the way, I still haven't shared that video, so I totally have to. For one of the cultures, I have a magic quantifying system, which is in metric. Like, you have millimeters, you have meters, megameters, so, you know, it's a magical system of quantifying magical effects. And it's not gonna be in Imperial!
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Here's one. Plans on the horizon after ES. Any consideration for law neutral chaos routes a la Shin Megami Tensei for ES? And then they also asked the biggest man slut on the team.
Falco.
I think Falco for the second question.
Yeah, Falco's for the second question.
Plans on the horizon.
What was the second question?
Any consideration for
Biggest manslaughter.
like alignment values?
Oh, manslut? Oh.
Well, there was
What you're talking about.
So one, plans on the horizon after ES. Probably ES-related content, depending upon how the community responds for like their own creations and things like that. I mean, we would be updating the toolkit and
yeah,
it's
really hard to answer that because like our stretch goals could mean more content for ES, more platforms for ES, bringing ES online, supporting tools for ES. You know, so like it's really hard to answer that without like saying ES. So basically, like that's really the best we can answer it right now.
And then they asked basically about like character alignment as far as like lawful, neutral, chaotic.
I never liked those,
routes.
to be honest.
Well,
I
think like implicit within a lot of the decisions you make in the side quests, like you will have.
Yeah, I mean
like,
that's the point of the side quests and the character, like other narratives and other story arcs, is that like you get to explore like that other path that way. I mean,
right?
It's yeah.
Like, you know, like I really don't like the notion of like lawful or chaotic or, you know, good or evil. Like,
Yeah,
when
like
was
what,
the
like,
last time you
Fable did or
genuinely
whatever.
thought? Like, when was the last time you genuinely thought that someone's like good or evil, as in like literal sense?
The world's not that black and white.
I don't know about you motherfuckers, but I am so straight up chaotic neutral. It's not even funny. Like I totally agree with the alignments.
I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, human psyche is a little bit more complicated than two sliders.
I mean, for example, no country goes to war thinking they're wrong. I mean,
Yeah, we are fighting for freedom and for God.
All right, next.
if I'm very comfortable with C++, would you still recommend me to dive into C? Would there be any real benefits, or could I live without it?
C.
No, you could live without it. Like,
No,
come
you
on,
can't.
guys, give me a fucking break. C++
Like-
is a superset of C. So if you are truly like
Not really.
well versed in C++, you should at least be an adequate C developer.
It's not really a superset anymore because they don't follow the
Yeah,
standard.
but like only like at the very most like advanced level of C++. Yes, they're starting to fork, which is pissing me off. Like there's C++ 11 and C11 now or whatever. But like come on, guys. Like
Yeah, but I think you should, like, for example, know how virtual methods are implemented under the hood, like how it used to translate directly to C.
right.
You know, you should
And
know at least that kind of stuff.
still-
So you
yeah,
know
it
what you're
still
getting
does,
yourself
right.
into.
Also,
And
very
so
bad.
what I think is if you know C++, you know C. But
Yeah.
the main thing that you would learn from like writing an application in C is how to architect your software in C, because it's much different than like the object-oriented, you know, class and internal methods of C++. Like I think that's where you really stand to benefit is software architecturally. The difference between writing a well-written C and C++ code versus, you know, I just understand how public functions in C++ works. I think that's, you know. All right, next. Is Connor trying to be like Mojang's junk boy? Why can't we see his beautiful face? I often ask myself the same question.
Actually, I have a decent answer for that. Is when I was playing in bands and stuff growing up, there was always people that thought that their look was more important than their instrument and their ability to play it. And then also, like, if you look at like heavy metal culture, which is what I grew up in, is like when people would cut their hair and they'd be like, "Oh, the dude from Northern cut his hair," like it was like a big gay drama fest, and I didn't want anything to do with it. So I just always had this like mentality of being a little bit more anonymous because I want people to listen to my music or play the games that I'm part of making or whatever and just enjoy it instead of me being the subject of conversation. I don't really care about me, I care about what I do.
Good answer.
Jesus, that is a good answer. I can't tell if it's a sincere
By the way,
answer.
Leandro wanted
Yeah,
us to say bye from him because he he got so drunk he accidentally refreshed the stream and he cannot join back.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like he's not in the.
Damn, I'm trying to sober up here. Okay. All right, next question.
Don't touch buttons.
Next question. Modding for ES. Yes. That's part of us releasing the tools, is that like not only can you like make your own game and engine, which is cool and all, but like you can also create content within the toolkit for the world of Elysian Shadows and like have people explore like your environments and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something that we wanted to tie into that as well. So yes, good question. Next question. Are y'all, he said y'all, this guy must be a Southerner as well. Are y'all going to put ESTK as a product for sale separate from Elysian Shadows game? Actually, no, we're not. It comes for free bundled with the Elysian Shadows game, because we kind of want everyone to be able to screw with it and like see that you can make your own games. Kind of like how Unity's free, you know?
Well, you can get Unity without a game. So your example is wrong.
Oh my god. Who is that?
Who was that?
Did I just come back to some screaming? What is even happening?
I think that was Connor.
That wasn't me.
Whatever, dude. Alright.
I think it's
Wild
Eddie's
fans at the door screaming, freaking out.
What's the difference between OpenGL and OpenGL ES? Okay, so OpenGL is basically desktop graphics library. OpenGL ES, the ES stands for embedded system, meaning that it's sort of a subset of OpenGL that is specialized and optimized for mobile hardware. And if you use this subset, then it will work on mobile devices and it will work on basically desktop machines, not necessarily like without any tweaks. There's a little bit of tweaking, but basically that's the subset of the standard you use for mobile devices. So like in Elysian Shadows, we're only using OpenGL ES instead of the full OpenGL so that we can easily support iOS, Android, and Ouya.
So basically, you should target ES first, and that way,
That's what I believe, honestly.
later on, if you want to, you can extend OpenGL on the desktop.
Are you going to stay true to the laws of physics at all times in the game, or are you allowing for exceptions?
There's a couple of areas where we've already planned for exceptions for it. I mean,
That's actually just depends how you look at it. I mean,
it really does, because I think some of what Patrick has done is he's tried to find a way to kind of create our own laws of physics to supplement the actual laws of physics.
Can I?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
leading up to it so that you can answer it articulately.
Okay. Tell me when I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so here's the fact. It depends on the layer abstraction that you have, because if you're gonna think about the Newtonian physics that you have...
Oh my god, he's so excited.
It stems from the quantum mechanics lying underneath. So if you're gonna change something within quantum mechanics, then you're changing the Newtonian physics and directly how the world interacts. And actually, probability is like one of the forces and one of the subsystems of the force that we have within our quantum mechanics system. So technically, if you affect the probability, then you affect the quantum mechanics, which in turn affects all of the Newtonian physics, including gravity, Coulomb's force,
No idea what the fuck you say.
Small and like weak and strong nuclear attraction, and spells are actually affecting it. So technically, you don't change, like you don't like break the laws of physics. There is no way to break laws of physics, but you can change the laws of physics within a specific area or within a specific object, and thus make magic possible. So that's what we're gonna do.
So the short answer is no. We're not completely staying true. We're kind of modifying them slightly, or adding our own little.
Well,
But
the example I was going to give was like Connor's area that he wanted to have like non-Euclidean distance, where like you could be walking down a hallway, open a door, like oh shit, it's like 4 monsters or something. Turn around, and then like that hallway is just a dead end now. I mean, things like that too. I mean,
right.
Oh man, don't. I got so much of that. Don't even. Oh, so
yeah,
much
I mean,
stuff.
he is so excited for that kind of stuff too. So I mean, not just like gravitational forces, but like there's areas that won't, I guess, make physical sense and things like that. The puzzles you'll have to figure out for some areas. Like
yeah, and then
No,
they're gonna make sure to write enough text to make it sense. Like everything's gonna stem from something. So if you understand.
What we don't want is we don't want like all this magical behavior that like suddenly like all the characters can do everything and like there's no bounds to what they can do and it makes no sense, you know? And it's like, oh, I guess they can just do anything.
The very founding principle of how magic works has a giant theory in our ends where it can be explained and there's rules, as far as that's
concerned. I hate magical bullshit. I hate whenever people are pulling something out of their asses and it doesn't make logical sense within the story. Yeah. So everything is gonna be like one continuous line of logical conclusions that, once you dig, because, this information gonna be buried deep within the game, because those are like fundamental forces of like how the world works, and it's all intervened with our storyline. So you have to really explore and really dig around. But that's gonna be the reward. Like you'll be able to understand the world of the game more deeper, like the deeper you dig.
Someone just
So
texted me and said, "Jesus Christ, you gave Patrick too much caffeine." All right, next question.
I don't even know.
Have you guys created any smaller games before ES? If so, what did you learn from them that helped you create ES?
Yes.
Yeah, go on YouTube, especially for Marcel and I. There's 2 videos called Team ES Previous Projects 1 and 2, which is basically like all throughout my childhood and growing up before Elysian Shadows, all of the projects I worked on, like a lot of them were Dreamcast platformers, platforming shooters, like a Mega Man clone, a Samba de Amigo clone that actually had Maraca support, a particle demo on the Dreamcast, and mostly what I learned was how to write software that didn't suck ass. That's mostly it for me. What about the rest of you guys?
I've always
I gotta run to the
different kinds of
restroom.
software. Man.
I actually did a university research project, which was like a Japanese language learning game. But on this, I also recreated Harry Potter on Game Boy Color. So. Like just a level of it because it was fun. So I've done a little bit, but I'm not, like Tyler God status or anything.
Dude, I don't even think I have any like personal projects that I've ever really finished to a point. I mean, I've always worked on, I guess, mods and stuff. Like Diablo 1 was the first game I ever modded or tried to like hack and figure out, and like I did that kind of stuff like PSO and like
I used to
World
do
of
that.
Warcraft add-ons for Lua. Like people quit supporting them. Like I used to be a big World of Warcraft fan. And I would help bring their add-ons up to date or make small changes to make it just better for what I use them for and things like that. So.
I don't know if anybody watching played the game Black and White, the God game, but I used to do modding to that.
Yeah. Oh yes, I did modding for that shit too.
Yeah, I did. I've made some Android games before that aren't available anymore, but and besides that, like I've had other projects like just dumb stuff I did in middle school, and then
It's all about the learning process, man.
yeah, exactly. It was just basically just to fool around and.
Actually, people may not know this. Back in high school, it was my senior year. I took supercomputing, is what they called it. It was after you took C, C++, and like AP Java, you take this class. And we actually spent the entire semester working on a project that we then took to a competition. And we did a drag racing simulator where you could actually take like different parts of the car, as well like wheels or transmission and stuff like that, and swap these out. And we had the formulas actually take these different coefficients of like drag and things like that, and played it all into the formulas where you could do true world simulation for drag racing that way. I had to learn like SDL for that. Like it was crazy. Like for me back then, it was nuts. I think that's probably one of the bigger projects that people would actually know about that.
I've never actually finished anything that was game related. I've started on a while ago. I started on a web-based RPG that never went through. I
Pokemon Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've started on network projects in Node.js. They were more like tests, and yeah, everything's kind of either test or I get bored and move on.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever played Uplink, but it was one of the games. It was
I made it.
It was Introversion's first game. No, I wish I made it, but that was basically the game that got me into game development, like overall. Like that's how it all started for me.
Cool.
And I was on a site that made a really big mod for it called OnLink, and I even posted on the ES forums, like way before I joined the team. I was working on a web-based port called Downlink, which was never finished because I don't finish anything. So, yeah.
All right. Was that everyone? Did everyone get to answer except for Leandro? Because I guess he got drunk and passed out.
No, he refreshed the
Yeah.
page and it won't let him back in. It's Firefox is being buggy. I don't know what's
All right.
going on.
Well, shit. All right. Next question. Falco, will there be a possibility to bring ESCK in the engine to HTML? I'm assuming HTML5 and WebGL.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, like since we're releasing libgyro open source, that's the platform-specific layer of abstraction that the engine and toolkit sit on. So if someone implements that in WebGL, which absolutely you could do it, then yes, we automatically support the
Well, actually, it should already work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really, honestly, I don't know how the fuck OpenGL or WebGL works
No,
because I'm not very interested.
We use EM scripting to convert our C and C++ projects to JavaScript, and then it would just work.
Oh, yeah. There's your answer. There's your answer. It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's probably going to be done eventually. We just haven't devoted the time to it yet.
Right. Because we have a game to make first. Okay. Can I pre-order the ESTK and engine for commercial use? Basically, like if you want that, like the way you pre-order is just back our Kickstarter for the game because it will come with the game, you know, and like you'll be able to do whatever you want with it.
Or
like,
if you want early access, you can pay more for the early access for the beta test.
That's right. Yeah, if you want early access to the ESTK and the engine, then just make sure that you've pledged enough to be a beta backer. Because I'm sure, like, for beta backing, we'll already let you, like, even if you're beta testing the engine and toolkit within the ES context, like, we'll still let you, like, branch out and, like, work on your own stuff and help us make sure that the toolkit and engine are truly, like, extensible and versatile enough to be used as a true, like, multi-platform engine outside of Elysian Shadows. All right. Next, Elysian Shadows coffee mugs. Yeah, we're working on that. We wanted coffee mugs and T-shirts as add-ons after we hit the goal, which we just hit the goal, because we wanted to be able to.
Or A get branded.
Yeah, we wanted to be able to offer those through PayPal so that Kickstarter doesn't get cut. So now that we hit the goal, yeah, we're trying to real quick get the artists to like create mock-ups for some awesome T-shirts and coffee mugs.
Those will be up shortly.
Yeah, we're working on it. All right. Someone grab the next one.
Let's see. Would it be possible? Yeah, somebody already answered that, but didn't take it out of the queue. Falco, how many years do you think UAH graduate school will delay? Yes, joking, but slightly serious.
None. Because, like, dude, in graduate school, every big project I've had so far for graduate school, I've used in ES. Like, right now, I have to do this broad phase collision detection and binary space partitioning tree on the GPU. Well, guess like what also needs that? Elysian Shadows. Like, and at the same time, dude, I've learned so much valuable shit as far as like low-level optimization and hardware for like getting ES to run really well and assembly optimizing it for some of these other platforms that honestly like graduate school has definitely benefited it, and it's something I feel strongly about, and I'm not about to quit grad school. I'll just take it very slowly and only do one class at a time because I want a fucking PhD because I want to be called Dr. Gergis because that would be fucking amazing. All right, next.
So I'm texting some family back. It's been blowing up my phone here real quick.
All right. What ideas have you had for using the Oculus Rift with ES? What kinds of things could you do with it that you can't do with the flat screen?
Well, ES is a 3D game.
Right. So, like, especially with the 3D perspective we have and all of that kind of stuff, like, it'd be really cool to see that on the Oculus Rift. We haven't spent, like, an excruciating amount of time, like, planning for that just because, like, the stretch goal for that is so, like, it's pretty high up, you know? So, like, if we hit that, you know, we'll have a shitload of planning that we'll have to do. But, like...
But I will say that I have a DK1 and my DK2 is on order, so...
And I have some... friends in the industry too who have development kits for the Oculus Rift that like, and I hang out with them and I've totally been able to see like what they're doing, so it's kind of
it is very cool technology.
It's kind of exciting, yeah, to see it, and so we're like well versed in that scene, even if like currently we're not like targeting it with ES yet.
I mean, we did our research before we set up stretch goals. We didn't pull them out of our ass.
Despite what IGN and Kotaku.
And John Romero says, you like it. Use just butter.
See, someone asked, or stated rather, I can only hope that ES Online someday. Keep the edited videos real and unedited. I'm learning PHP, MySQL, to hope to use those skills to make web games someday. You guys are inspiring to indie devs of all types. Thank you. I cannot wait to play ES.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good fight, man.
We're running out of questions. Somebody said copy left, not copyright.
Dude, we're not running out of. There's so many questions here.
Wait, who said that?
I see 4. David Marvin?
No copy left. That's evil. That's GPL. No.
Yep. Oh no GPL for
that's
us.
viral. That's
GPL.
morally wrong, I believe.
We're. I know we just lost a whole shit ton of backers, but
it's
like.
not morally wrong. It's that you pick what you want to do for your own project.
Well, that and the fact that open source is one thing. Like I have been promoting taking ES open source like from the beginning.
Right.
Just the GPL, I would never make my project that because
I agree. I agree too. And
that would force everybody else who bases their stuff off of us to make their stuff GPL, and it's just like that's not freedom to me.
Me neither. I completely agree. Like, it's not that I don't like open source software. I think it's awesome, but I do have like a fundamental moral disagreement with the GPL as a license. If I'm making my shit open source, my shit is open source. You do what you want with it. Like, I should not be able to say that, oh, your shit has to be open source to use my shit. Then it's not. It's like some pseudo freedom. You're like, that's bullshit. That's a political agenda, and I don't have one. I would rather you just use my shit.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
This person said, I'm a huge open source advocate and Linux enthusiast, but I totally agree that you and your ESTK should be fully under your control as long as you maintain it with the community's needs. I think that makes perfect sense.
And we will, and another thing, like I said, like we do want libgyro to be open source, and portions of it will probably still need to be open source because, like, for certain like low-level operations, like maybe Lua won't be fast enough to do like certain things. You know, maybe it really will need to continue to be extensible via C or C++ in that regard. So, like, you know, we're doing everything we physically can do, like, other than making it open source, you know, so that you guys have full control over it.
Yeah, and I think, like, if it gets to a point where we can't support it anymore, that's when we would open source it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got a question.
All right.
Falco, are you ever going to complete your quest to complete every Final Fantasy game? I mean, it's been like 6 years, man.
I know, man, I'm so close. The only ones I haven't beaten Final Fantasy 2, but I'm so close.
I feel like the newer ones don't count anyway.
I haven't beaten 8, but I'm so close, and then I haven't even started 13. Those are the only ones. Like, almost done with 2 and 8, and then 13 I haven't started. Like, I'm so close.
I haven't played any game for more than 10 minutes.
I swore to myself I would finish every Final Fantasy, and I'll still do it. I will, goddammit.
Let's see. Somebody said, I never had a Dreamcast console, but I'm super happy that you guys are going to publish on Ouya. Since there are not enough good games on it yet and it still has potential, what is the platform do you think ES is going to be the most after the Kickstarter?
Maybe.
Well, we can't really say like this platform will be the best because part of what we really wanted to do is we don't want to just throw ES on all these platforms. We want to make them all like awesome, and we don't want to like half-ass it for anyone. We don't want there to be any one best platform. But honestly, like, I will say that, like, as a developer for the Ouya, like, there's a lot of scenes I've been involved with, like, in the Dreamcast scene.
Ouya is
like,
extremely supportive.
Yeah, like, going around promoting ES and stuff, and you know, you post on a lot of communities, and there's a lot of people who are like, I hate you, go fucking kill yourself, your game sucks. Like, Ouya stuck out to me. Ouya really stuck out to me as being, like, one of the most, like, supportive, one of the most intelligent scenes that I had like ever seen, and like it really meant a lot for me. And like, so now I'm proud to say that I'm an Ouya developer after like the support we've gotten on that console. I really believe in what Ouya is and what it represents, like as an open platform for indie game development. And like, yeah, just thanks to the Ouya scene, and like we are really looking forward to supporting that platform.
For some reason, I'm not loading my other comments now. It's got me stuck at like one comment left. I might have to like rejoin or something.
Yeah, dude, there's a
you
shit
can
ton.
dude, here's how you
God
fix it.
damn, Patrick, fucking calm down.
Wait, but so you don't do the same mistake that Leonardo did. You can actually like shut down Q&A
That's what I'm about
after
to
you
do.
run
Right.
and reload it. Like, you don't have to quit the thingy.
All right, next
Yeah,
question.
it's-
Will you guys keep adding features to make ES a more rich experience, or are there some features you love but will save for the next game? I think it's hard to answer that right now. Like, we're still so early in development that, like, if we have a good idea, like, fucking add it right now. You know, there's still time to do that. I think, like, we'll really find out, like, towards the end of development if we run into, like, some fundamental feature that, like, would be awesome, but we don't have time to do it, you know? Right now, we're not pressed for time, so there's no reason that we couldn't, like, implement every feature we can think of right now, or at least consider it. So, I don't know. We'll have to see as time goes on if there's anything. Currently, there's not anything that we haven't been able to implement.
We had a question from Holger Janish, actually, too. Are you going to have...
I don't want to have to talk about the things I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, it asked, are you going to have any hidden or undocumented side quests or abilities that is not openly known as encourage hacking? I wouldn't say necessarily encourage hacking, but as far as, like, undocumented or hidden quests and stuff, I don't see why not.
Absolutely. Like,
Easter eggs
there's
or, like,
there's gonna be a lot of
awesome.
secrets. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It might be cool to have like a quest that, like, if we're releasing like this whole moddable platform, like maybe you don't have access to it unless you like dig through the Lua scripts and like find out how to unlock it. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Read some of the really messed up comments I leave in the Lua scripts. Jesus.
Yeah, dude, I want achievement installed mode. Like, I want this
really cool. That'd be really cool.
Let's see. There's actually a lot of really good questions. I haven't seen any of these in my comment.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of really good questions.
Some guy said, what's your views on the favorite Final Fantasy lore? Which one is yours?
Oh.
10.
I think Final Fantasy VI is my favorite 2D Final Fantasy, and then Final Fantasy IX is my favorite 3D, and Final Fantasy IX is probably my favorite overall, just because, like, I don't know, I played it during a very, like, fucking low, depressed point in my life, and, like, that game and its storyline, like, single-handedly, like, pulled me out of a depression. Like, I remember, like, I was sad to beat that game, so I sat there doing, like, every side quest just so it didn't have to end, and then it ended, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do with my life now? Like, that game, it had the feels for me. I don't know, what about the rest of you, Tyler?
My favorite, I guess, Final Fantasy series would have to be Final Fantasy Tactics. My favorite mainstream Final Fantasy would be either 8 or 9. I think growing up, I didn't have 9 very long. I had 8. I played the heck out of that a lot more. I got 9 like later on, but 9 definitely resonated with me as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of 7. I played Legends of Dragoon at that time. So
I would also like to say I loved 7. I loved 8. Basically, 4 was awesome. I will have to say I absolutely fucking despise Final Fantasy V. I hated that game. I forced myself to beat FF5 just so I could say, like, I had pretty much beat all of them. Final Fantasy 12 was really good. And I even used to play Final Fantasy 11 online.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit it or not, but, like, I was a red mage and I had, like, a pimp hat.
I had that too.
It was awesome.
I tried to get into it.
It was awesome. Anyone else want to comment on Final Fantasy?
No.
No.
Dude, I have like 50 fucking Facebook notes.
So somebody asked, is December 2015 a realistic goal at this point for release date? Yes.
At this point in time, I would still say yes. Like, that's why
we said it.
I think most Kickstarters, we were a little uneasy because most Kickstarters, it seems like, have said like
year.
one year turnarounds. And we were a little uneasy, like, oh, are people going to get pissed at us for doing a year and a half? But we did it because we didn't want you guys to get pissed at us for being late. And, like, yes, we believe that's realistic. And now there's a little bit of extra overhead to be able to release, like, the game and a multi-platform engine and toolkit to you guys as well. But, like, as I said, like, one of the things we've always done is we've tried to be extremely transparent through Adventures in Game Development. So you should never be wondering, like, why the fuck are they late? What the fuck are they working on? Like, what's the status of the project? We always want to keep you in the loop. Like, I can't sit here and say, we'll absolutely have it done on time, because I'm sure every other Kickstarter that was late did that too. But, like, we're going to try our goddamnedest, and we're going to be, like, completely transparent and open with you if we wind up being late. Like, you'll know exactly why, you'll know exactly what's up.
You don't disappear for a year and come back and say there's been delays.
And especially those of you who are beta backers, like, we want to keep you guys in the loop and let you know, like, this is what's up. So.
Absolutely. Are you guys excited for the Ouya 2? Rumor is that the specs are going to be announced soon.
Yes! I'm so excited because I don't have to use as much assembly or optimize the goddamn shaders as much like I need to for the Ouya one. That's why I'm excited.
Yeah, it should have a decent GPU.
You know how hard it is to get some of this stuff to run on the Tegra 3? When I first put ES on the Ouya, like, don't get me wrong, it's a great platform, I love it and all, but like it was running under 1 FPS. Like going from the PC to the Ouya, when it was running fairly well on like mobile devices in general, it's just there's a lot of low-level GPU-centric optimizations that go into making a high-performance Ouya game. Yeah, I'm hoping Ouya 2 will, you know.
When we first ported it, I couldn't tell like if it was actually rendering or not.
I know, I remember.
I thought it was just like rendering one frame and then just freezing or something. It turns out it was rendering like real time, but it was only like 10 seconds per frame.
I don't know how many of you guys are like GPU developers, but it's a completely different environment from CPU development because your code is executing in parallel on like 16 cores simultaneously, where literally one line of code or one extra variable can push you over a register limit per thread on a CPU core, and it can literally half your frame rate with one line of code. GPU programming is some serious fucking shit. That's why I don't let anyone touch my shaders on this team. So I can't wait to have like a better CPU or GPU on the Ouya.
And I still need shitload of changes to the shader, so we're gonna have some fun.
No, we'll sit down and talk about that. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much fun together.
Right. I know.
Yeah, right.
So we need to get you stateside so we can talk face to face. So if a fist fight breaks out, I mean it's.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like a lot of just tweaking of the variables. Oh, by the way, like Falco, hypothetical question: is it actually?
Oh god.
I mean, wait.
No,
come on, that's an interesting question.
Come on, let's hear it.
Is there possible, is it possible somehow to like expose the variables of the shaders like to GUI in the toolkit or something like that, so I could like change how the colors are changing?
Jesus Christ!
Oh my goodness!
Actually,
yes, it's possible.
Actually, you can do that.
Yeah, you could.
What I was already thinking of doing is I was going to make like a bunch of pound-defined macros at the beginning of the shaders so that you could actually adjust like
easily
adjust like different variables in the shaders if you're not a developer. And basically what I can have ESTK do is parse those pound defines and actually auto-generate them. So yeah, we could actually have that tweakable.
I think like something like that, because
anyway, we're going to scare everyone out of this fucking chat. This needs to be reserved for later. I have a feeling this is going to be
it's like a really interesting thing. I mean, I don't understand.
It is. Like, guys, we just lost like 3 fucking people in this. We're down to 1. Oh, no, we gained 1, but I think
I should just distract everybody for a second and show off my awesome Game Boy collection on Pokemon. Like,
all of the rare spawns.
That's the coolest thing.
Crystal and silver and gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm big into it.
Yeah, we like Pokemon on this team. All right, next question. Or no,
I found an important one.
What's up, Dan?
I'm just saying, I found an important one that might want to be addressed.
Okay.
We can still back on the Kickstarter, right? I was hoping to back this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not finished.
Kickstarter's still up for a week. Like there's still a whole bunch of stretch goals that like they're at like about, I think the next one's at 170K and then about 200K. Like there's a whole bunch of stretch goals that we have for bringing ES to like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One that we still need more funding to be able to do. So like the more people that back, the more we'll be able to do with the game. Like basically 150K was the bare minimum we would need to be able to deliver Elysian Shadows and the development suite now. Yep. So now is when we're able to like add additional features based on how much we can get now. That wasn't very articulate, but yes.
Somebody asked, what's your favorite RPG, and have you ever played text-based RPGs? Favorite RPG would be probably Tactics or Legends of Dragon for me, but I actually used to play text-based RPG, different MUDs. That is a long time ago. I played Materia Magica for a long time.
Dude, I remember that, man. You got me into Materia Magica for a while.
I mean, like those kind of rule sets with like D&D and like everything like that. Like I've always been like really big into like number crunching and playing that kind of stuff and figuring out like the crazy shit. Like I used to play the shit out of some Materia Magica.
And I think those games are really cool for inspiration, like the text-based games and like the older games, because I know I've said this before, but they didn't have like graphics to rely on to like relay things creatively, to like really set the mood or environment. Yeah, they really had to have a captivating story to bring players in. Whereas like today, like Final Fantasy 13, like okay, I don't want to call that out, but yeah, I do. You have like a shitty storyline in game that like basically like relies fully on graphics to like draw you in. You know, a lot of those older like text-based and more primitive games didn't have that same luxury, and that's why a lot of those are pretty deep. What
guys, are you ready for some tabletop, for some like pen and paper RPGs? So my favorite system would be Dungeon World. That's really great and well crafted one. My favorite setting could be Warhammer 40k, but also Warhammer the standard one, which is like very grim and like gritty and very
Warhammer, man. I was a big War Machine fan.
Yeah. But you know, like even like the sort of like the final the fantasy tabletop, the fantasy RPG, like when you get a critical on you, you can lose a limb. Like that doesn't happen in D&D. Like if you get a hit, like oh yeah, you're just gonna regrow it or whatever. But what I like from D&D is like how expansive the world is and like how much shit there is in D&D. Like you can write books and books. Yes.
You know, Warhammer actually did a Kickstarter for their Warhammer Tactics game, and they actually got funded, and it looks incredible.
Hey, Aegis Defenders or whoever retweeted us. Hey, make sure to retweet those guys, because those guys are really cool. And if you guys haven't seen
I back that Kickstarter. They're awesome. Everybody
if you guys haven't seen them, like they're I think like them and us were like the big Kickstarters like this month or whatever, and they're really cool, and like they've been a really good sport for us, and we're trying to like be a good sport for them too, and like Kickstarter is not about like, for anyone who starts a Kickstarter, you're not competing with the other Kickstarters, and don't have that mindset. Don't be a douchebag about it. It's you and everyone else competing against the world and the gaming community. Like remember that. And like there's a lot to
indie gaming is like to begin with.
Right, and there's a lot to gain through co-promotion, and basically just don't be a dick, man. Like I've met a lot of game developers who like seriously, some of the worst comments I have read on any of our stuff have come from developers, and it's just like I can't believe them. Like there's some developers I've seen that have like failed Kickstarters, and like they will just write comments just fucking trashing you. It's like, are you that envious or jealous, dude? Like, you could have like supported us and like made us like you,
good criticism
and been our friends, you know, and then we would have been encouraged to support you back, because like that's how you do it. That's how you're not a dick. But instead, like you completely decide to like tear us a new asshole publicly. So now I hate you, and I'm not going to support you.
I think it's safe to say that there are a couple of unamused game developers out there.
I know it's fucked up, man. Like. How can you respect your work as a game developer? How can you put so much passion and commitment into a project and not respect the same thing in someone else's project? To be honest, that's just fucked, dude. That's just fucked.
To be honest, if you were in the music scene and you think that the game development scene is bad, you would just be astounded.
Dude, I would kill them, man. Like seriously, that stuff, like that's the stuff that gets to me. I'm just like, how could you? I don't know.
It's kind of like being an artist in the ES chat. Like if you post some art, then Patrick will like yell at you and tell you it's extremely terrible and that how you should make art again.
No. I mean, that's not what I'm doing. I mean, sometimes I will admit sometimes I'm being slightly undiplomatic and maybe not completely nice, but I always try to be constructive. Because saying that something's yes.
All you say is something shit. Like that's what you do.
Even your own stuff.
I always say why something is shit.
But yeah, I will give Patrick that. It's not like he also says his own work is always shit too. So it's not like he's just.
I mean, it's not even about that. Like saying that something shit is not a critique. That's just an opinion, and opinions are shit. But saying that something shit because A and B and C, and you can fix it by doing D and E and F. Then that's constructive criticism, and that's something they can actually take and learn from it, and that's something important.
That's why we love you, Patrick. All right, next question.
I love you.
Hang on. I wanted to just show off some more of my portable collection. Back on the favorite RPG question. it's honestly between this series, if you can see that.
Oh my
Yes.
God, Golden Sun.
Oh, nice.
The flutes,
nice.
the flutes.
I
Yeah.
need, dude, I still haven't played Golden Sun. I really.
Oh my
need to.
gosh.
What? I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's between.
Dude, some of you guys haven't played Chrono Trigger. Get off my nuts.
I've at least played it. But yeah, it's between Golden Sun and Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast or GameCube.
Yes.
Those are my favorites.
No, not or GameCube, just on the Dreamcast.
Well, I mean,
Go
I
ahead
finished.
and
I
verify that.
started it on the Dreamcast, and then when that was tragically sold in a garage sale, I finished it on the GameCube. So, yeah. And then I'm currently playing Bravely Default since Tyler pushed me over the edge to buy it.
Yes.
So.
Bravely Default.
Yeah, I need to be.
But I'm 60 hours in. I'm still stuck at the Fire Temple grinding up all my classes.
All right, next question. Do we still have 130?
I've got a good one.
Okay, all right.
If I have a Dreamcast copy in the UK, will it come in the really thick cases that the PAL Dreamcast games came in, or will it be a normal thin case? You get to choose.
You get to
want
choose.
PAL
Yeah.
or North American.
Part of what our publishers at Watermelon have done, I hope Tulio's watching this because they're badasses. Yeah, the PAL casing for the Dreamcast versions, let me go to my room. I don't know
Dan's
how many of you...
Dan's got one, focuses.
Yeah, okay, let me focus on Dan. I don't know how many of you have seen that. Like, no other jewel case in the world looks like that. That's like a Sega proprietary thing. Well, Watermelon, our publisher, has made a mold after that. So they can literally produce jewel cases like in the same manner of the PAL Dreamcast games to make them legitimate. And so you'll be able to pick your region, and it will legitimately look like US, PAL, and Japanese style based on what you want. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be awesome. And for me, as a US collector, all of the rare Dreamcast games are PAL, so I always feel like the PAL cases are oh god, that's rare. Yeah, I like the PAL casing personally. It's always been rare for me.
Somebody asked, and this may be a question you'll have to redirect, but it had 15 votes. Can you educate me on how Lua is set up in C++?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, so that to be quick. All right, so basically Lua is an interpreted scripting language that is optimized for embedded systems and low memory usage. And basically what you do is the interpreter it's basically a library that you link to in your C++ code. You compile it in with that, and then you can easily expose C++ functions to Lua and Lua functions to C++. So it's written to easily interop and interact between the two languages, which is why it works well for game engines, so that when I write collision functions or AI routines in the engine, you can easily interact with them through Lua scripting, which does not have to be statically recompiled. So it really allows you to rapidly prototype and add and extend engine behavior without ever having to recompile code. So that's it. Lua in a nutshell. Next. Any chance for a visual shader editor similar to Unreal Engine for ESTK and Engine? Can we make an MMO with ESTK Engine? Jesus. Wait, Unreal has a visual shader editor?
Yeah, I think so. That was new.
Well, now we have to do it.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's something I would need to research, to be honest, to even know what kinds of stuff you could do with that. To me, surely that's just tweaking variables within a shader, right? You can't.
I would think so.
Yeah, so it would probably be visually exposing variables that are already in a certain shader behavior, which is pretty much what Patrick asked for originally.
Right.
Which, yeah, it's totally doable to do something like that. And can we make an MMO with ESTK Engine? That is going to depend on mostly our stretch goals for if we build in support for online. And if we don't, you might be able to just do that yourself, and use our basic engine, hopefully.
It could be a community project.
Well, we'll have to see.
I can't. Not be to that point for you to do that.
We can't commit to that right now until we hit the stretch goal, but there is a possibility that you guys could do that independently through extending the engine. Okay.
So how much of the programming time is spent trying to get it to work on all the platforms? How much faster would it be if you just did this on Mac and PC?
See, so many people ask that, but none. Once we developed a framework, and the engine does not make any platform-specific calls. They're all resolved at runtime. And once you've implemented libgyro on a certain platform, we're not sitting here like, oh, we just broke it on the Dreamcast. That's not how it works. We're not wasting time doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
when we ported to Android, it was really just fixing the slowdowns, but everything actually worked.
Right, and what Eddie did with the Android and Ouya is really a testament of this. If you go back and watch Adventures in Game Development like 24 and 25, you can clearly see Tyler and I are working our asses off on the engine and gameplay. We're not doing anything Ouya related. And then suddenly in Chapter 26, it's running on the Ouya on everything, and we didn't do anything to get it there other than optimize the shaders for that GPU.
Right.
Like, and Eddie was able to do that without being an engine developer, you know? So that division of labor is really like why we architected libgyro, and that's what has allowed us. It took a little bit of extra time in the beginning, but now it's paying off, and that there's not additional upkeep for supporting these other platforms. So yeah, we get that a lot. We get that a lot. Like, why are you wasting time supporting all these platforms? But we're not. That's not the way it works. That's not. All right, next question. Have you considered officially creating and dubbing your own game development specific language? That's a really good question, actually. I've considered it, and a lot of like really big studios, like I know Naughty Dog does that. They have a very low-level language, and actually it turns out our publisher, Watermelon, did the same thing with, even on the Sega Genesis, they kind of had a low-level like scripting language to do that. I think that would be awesome. The only reason I haven't is like I haven't had time to dedicate to that kind of like low-level R&D stuff. And Lua is really already optimized for embedded systems. I think, like, you know, if we made our own like domain-specific language, it could totally be more optimized than Lua. But for now, it meets
Lua serves all the purposes we need.
And it's a very powerful general-purpose language in and of its own. You know, so we're not sitting here having to write like I/O libraries and math functions that are already there. And especially if we're releasing the tools and the engine and stuff, that's another big selling point. Is we can say like, Lua is already in there, and that's
people already know it. I mean,
yeah, and especially in the gaming industry, that's a well-known scripting language for games, just because it's very high performance.
Yeah, and for people who want to look into doing this sort of stuff, or if in the future we end up doing it, the guy who wrote LuaJIT, which is like an insanely fast alternative to the regular Lua interpreter, he also wrote a tool called Dynasm, so DYNASM, and it basically will allow you to generate assembly on the fly. It's an API to generate assembly, so if you wanted to, you could design your language and then have it generate or spit out native code for it. So
that's fucking amazing. Like, that's really cool. I need to look into that.
Pretty awesome.
I didn't know that.
This is, I guess, kind of a statement and then a question at the end. My new life motto for when I ask myself, should I go to bed or keep coding, is now, what would Falco and Tyler do? You guys have been a huge inspiration for me and my fellow developers. How does it make you feel when you get fan mail like this?
How does it make us feel when what?
When we get fan mail like this.
Oh, man, it makes us feel very...
It's incredible. It's surreal. I mean, like I said, you know, we may never actually meet you or other people like that send us these messages or like leave comments and stuff like that on our YouTube or Steam Greenlight, but like it's incredible knowing like when we set out to do this, A, we never meant to be famous on YouTube.
No, hell no. We had
B,
no idea.
We wanted to just make a Dreamcast game. Like we didn't have like any like delusions of grandeur of we're going to become this huge.
Yeah, there was no hidden agenda there.
Like, that was never there. And then like we find ourselves like kind of stuck in like this like almost a social responsibility point where like, you know, we've influenced this younger generation of people, or like not even younger, like I know older people watch our stuff and people our same age and they've been inspired by us to either go back to school or change their career path.
Age is irrelevant.
Just keep going, knowing that like, hey, somewhere out there these guys are doing this, you know. And like that again is re-inspiring back to us, knowing that you guys are out there still doing it, you know. I mean, we know that we can't disappoint our fans, you know. We have to keep the bar of what we wanted to do. So.
That's basically it. Like I couldn't really say it better. That's basically like I'm always taken aback when I get messages like that, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I don't know how to respond. Like, just
so like don't feel bad. First of all, if we don't respond to every single person, because we have like tons of Facebook messages and stuff. But like I don't even really know what to say sometimes.
Yeah, I can barely use Facebook anymore. I made the mistake of linking my Facebook to our Kickstarter page. Oh my God.
Yeah. I wish they would let you link pages.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do, but like now my Facebook account is like inseparable from ES, which I'm okay with because that's my fucking life anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right. Fun fact about the Ouya 2: Tegra 4 will be the minimum spec. I'm personally praying for Tegra K1.
Me too.
So what are the specs of the Tegra 4 compared to the Tegra 3? I'm not really familiar with that.
I don't know so much about the
architecture.
Tegra 4, but the Tegra K1 is literally they stuck a desktop class GPU and stuck it on a mobile chip. It's freaking awesome.
Really?
And as far as the K1 goes, there's two classes of it. There's like the regular 32-bit ARM, and then there's their Project Denver CPU, which is like their 64-bit ARM CPU, which would be.
Wait. The Tegra K1 it's a full SoC. It's not just a GPU.
Yeah, the Tegra platform is an SoC.
Oh fuck! I didn't even know that. See, I thought it was.
Yeah, and up until K1, they
what's the actual GPU architecture called, if that's the full SoC?
It's now with K1, it's like whatever the desktop GPU architecture is.
Jesus, I did not know that.
So I think now it's going to be Maxwell.
Ooh, I'm excited then. I'm excited. All right, well, shit.
Somebody asked, any chance of local or online co-op? If we hit the stretch goal, absolutely.
Yeah, there's even a stretch goal for that. Yeah, the only thing is, like, that is going to take a lot of work. Like, we have a lot of stretch goals. It's like, that won't take that much work.
That would take some work, which is why it's so much higher.
Regardless of what the rest of the internet thinks, it won't actually take that much work to get us on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Like, I do embedded system development for a living. Like, we already have it on the Dreamcast, you know. But actually doing multiplayer and then bringing it online, that will take the extra work that, you know, people say we're
most likely we would launch the game and then bring that out later as an update.
Right. I'll be right back. Gotta go to the restroom for the 20th time. Carry on.
Let's see. Somebody asked, are you ever going to incorporate true machine learning or adaptive algorithms in the NPC or enemy type characters? I want to, yes. That was part of what I set out to do originally with like the state machines and things like that. With Lua, we have ridiculous amounts of like inheritance we can do from like, you know, a kind of a broad behavior algorithm, and then able to have like these specific entities or even like unique entities that, you know, can communicate different ways between all the state machines and the different states, as well as like the character or different component values and things like that. I mean, I want the game to be difficult at some points. I mean, it's not meant to just kind of just play through from beginning to end. Like, there will be some points that are challenging that will cause the player to think, either combating certain enemies or, you know, come up with useful ideas, especially with being able to interact with the environment. I mean, you could, like, you know, set something on fire, or, like, you know, I don't know, some ice attack leaves like part of the area like frozen. Like, an NPC would need to know to either walk around that, or, you know, oh, I'm like a fire element, I don't want to walk through that, or something like that. So they'll be able to respond and learn from your own abilities if you keep expanding something like that.
Nothing makes me sadder than dump AI in the game. Like, AI is so often just, you know, ignored in game development.
Funny story, like when we first set out with the state machines and stuff, we booted up Secret of Mana, and I was like, okay, I want to see how like difficult, you know, this actually was. Or like, there is zero logic in that. I mean, like, I was sitting there like worried. I'm like, okay, well, like, are they actually like, you know, finding the player location, jumping?
Yeah, we were actually worried
Absolutely
about that.
not. I was like, okay, like, if this was the bar that was set and we have to push past that, it's fine. Yeah, but I really do want to push that like further than what I've ever seen any like traditional action RPG do. So, it's like, although we may not have like the classic like the BioWare, every decision you make changes the end of the game kind of thing going on. Like, I want the player to feel like they're actually interacting with the world, where like using certain abilities or acting in a certain manner does make a difference.
Hey, everyone on YouTube, like, I'm getting all of your comments here, but like, if you want to be in the Q&A, you need to be in the Google Hangout, because we can't see your questions like on air.
Yeah, like how we're seeing these and answering these.
Yeah. These aren't coming through YouTube. These are coming through the Google Hangout, which you can probably find like looking at our Google Plus page.
Yeah, for those that don't know, like, there is a really handy.
Dude, there's like 50 comments here of people asking questions, and they didn't realize it's not coming in here. Shit.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, the thing about like the Google Hangouts is that with this Q&A app is that when you watch the VOD, you can actually see the questions and click at the individual questions and have us answer. Like, put you onto the specific part of the video when we answer the specific question. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Right. Let's see. Go for it. I don't know. I'm reading through a couple of these, trying to find one. We've already answered that one. That's not really a question. What's the current top MMOs that's become a feature whoring competition, in which they lose their identity in order to please subscribers for money? How do you guys take a step back and not lose the identity of ES?
Ooh.
That was a good one.
We wouldn't sell out.
See, well, that's
Yeah.
also why, like, if we went online, we would not be really an MMO.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in that sense.
Because the thing is, if you're an MMO, you actually have to fundamentally re-architect the gameplay experience to, like, please a million people.
Oh my
and to
God.
have an
First of all, you would never please everybody.
Right, to have an
Game
open-ended
design is
storyline.
completely different, yeah.
To have an open-ended storyline, and so that, you know, you have an economy where not everyone can get the best shit. What we were wanting to do is more or less like make it so that there's public lobbies and stuff with
like what's similar to what Phantasy Star Online did,
exactly,
or like kind of what like Guild Wars did with cities and instances,
or Dragon Quest
Yeah,
9,
give us one.
or
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 9, to where you're still experiencing like the game exactly the way that we wanted to play it, where we're not like sitting here like hand tailoring it for like the internet and like watering it down so that like you can have all these extra grindy quests, you know, and not everyone can get the badass weapon.
Like the only difference in the gameplay mechanics itself would be, instead of like you playing as like a main character and then AI controlling the other 3 party members, those 3 people would just be your friends.
Right.
I mean,
right, and that's really how we wanted to do it, and I think that's the reason, you know, if it weren't for that, there's no way I would bring ES Online, because you would be creating
It'd be a
something
fundamentally different game.
yeah, something different than what we wanted to do, like, creatively, so.
And I think something important to point out is that we're gamers just like our audience, so we'd never do something that would compromise the game.
no, I mean that's
That was another question.
the question. Will you guys have other hangouts on air which we can ask questions about technical stuff like the shaders?
Sure, yeah. What question do you have about the shader? Go ahead and ask it, and I'll see if I can answer it really quickly. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have more on-air stuff. It's just hard because, like, some of you are so programming-oriented, some of you are art, some of you are...
We don't want to make it too boring.
Yeah, we're not trying to bore everyone off. Like, half of you don't give a shit about game development, you just want to play ES. It's kind of hard for us.
We've been doing this for, what, almost 4 hours or something anyway, and we still got it, like, well over 100 people.
We've been doing this for 4 hours?
There's a lot of questions still.
Jesus Christ, okay. Okay, alright.
How far are you willing to go with your team? Are you planning on any new projects for the Dreamcast? I mean, we are becoming an incorporated. I mean, it's a development studio for us at this point. I mean, we've quit our jobs. We're fully invested. I mean, it's where our team and where our game takes us.
I know. I personally have ideas that I've never been able to kick off myself, just because I'm not good at the art side of things, you know. And now that I'm part of a team, you know, it's like
scavenge the artist for your side project.
Yeah. So basically, he's trying. So now that I'm part of the team, I can steal the artist.
Well,
right.
I mean, after Elysian Shadows Dawn, and you know, we're like forging a studio and making a new project, we could do something like what Double Fine is doing when they do the Amnesia Fortnite, when all of the studios are divided into small teams and they're doing whatever the fuck they want for like 2 weeks. And they're just, you know, that's how they come up with, like, they prototyping new game ideas, and that's why they come up with new games.
Well, like Leandro, for example, like, I know he's been working on his big card game and stuff for a while. One of the things he asked us originally would be, like, after Elysian Shadows and after, like, all of this stuff, if we would be willing to help him or assist in getting him up and going with that, or even, you know...
Alright, I think, dude, we're getting way the fuck too tangential here. Like, I don't want to fucking talk about anything beyond ES, and, like, we don't need to be talking about anything beyond ES.
But we're talking about what happens after ES is.
Which we should not be talking about. No. Like, we have a fucking goal at hand here. Like, stay fucking
it's
focused.
Optimistic talk.
Or I'll kick your ass off. Optimistic talk from, like, the team pessimist?
I thought that was Patrick.
Guys,
that is Patrick.
Pick a fucking side.
What compiler is used to compile the Dreamcast binaries?
But it's funny, we actually, like, before the Kickstarter, we did have a couple teams, like, try to, like, poach our artists and our musicians from ES. Like, it was really funny, actually. Like, hey, you should come and like, work on our stuff on the side. And I'm like, when I heard, I'm like, oh, you motherfucker, you did not.
Somebody asked what compiler is used to compile the Dreamcast binaries.
GCC.
GCC, yeah. There's actually the Dreamcast CPU is just a standard Hitachi SH4. Well, not a standard. It's got a few extra instructions for like graphics specific stuff. But yeah, basically GCC. There's a flavor of GCC for it, and it's just standard GCC, which is why to this day we can still run C++11 on a Sega freaking Dreamcast from like 1998. It's kind of badass.
Yeah.
No, here's a audio engine question. Do you guys plan on having and extending audio support for things like perfect looping, pitch, and even maybe MIDI support for playing real-time synthesizers like old consoles and such? I imagine a light sound library would actually be a lot lighter and optimized.
Well, actually, the problem is a MIDI library is actually not easy to do because you have to like decode the MIDI and like generate a wave or convert it into something that like the hardware can do. So actually, that's not very optimized, and the problem is that like the sound library has to be optimized in that it works fine on the Dreamcast and stuff. So on PC right now we're using OpenGL, so you totally can like dynamically modify pitch and stuff in real time. It's a matter of how many of those features will have to be PC specific, and how many of them can you rely on being able to be implemented for all the platforms. So,
I don't want to use that anyways. What we have right now is exactly what I want to use. So.
Oh
Connor
yeah,
has
that's what I wanna
spoken.
hear. Dude, look how pissed off that guy is. I want that guy in ES, dude.
Dude, I'm stuck on this boss. I have no.
Dude, is that the boss on the aircraft?
Right before it.
Yeah, dude, that's so hard.
But I only have a knife and like 10 bullets because I haven't been using a gun the whole time, right?
Yeah.
God. Well, you're boned.
Godspeed.
Yeah, I can't do it.
All right, the next question.
Somebody said Madoka Magica. I'm not sure if that was a question back about like the Mud games. I had said Material
I feel like,
Magica.
have we watched?
I'm not sure what Madoka Magica is.
It's an anime. If you like anime, then definitely watch Madoka Magica. I personally haven't been able to watch past episode 4. I refuse because it's raping my psyche, and it's gonna make me so fucking depressed. Like I don't even want to because I know where it's heading.
Jesus, okay.
But yeah, it's the biggest fucking bait and switch on anime ever that you would like. It's pretty great. Watch it.
Somebody else said, are you going to be including achievements in ES? I would love that. I know it's a cheap way to add content, but it's nice to have the choice to do them. Yes, and we will plan to include achievements actually on the Dreamcast as well.
Yep. Yeah, achievements. Yeah, if we do achievements, which we're going to, like on Steam and the other platforms, they'll be absolutely platform. I just forgot my train of thought. They'll be absolutely platform agnostic, and that everything will have achievements.
Let's see. Somebody said, will ES be open world? If so, will the open world in the traditional sense of no loading screens?
It will be open world, but no, it will not. It will not be. It will not be open world in the sense of no loading screens. One of the reasons is like a game like Pokemon, it takes away some of what we're able to do creatively with like the level design because it all has to flow together because it's all contiguous. I'm more a fan of the way like Final Fantasy XII handled it, to where it is like all one continuous, or it is all one world that's like connected together, but like every area can have like its own unique terrain, and it doesn't have to tile by tile match up with the other ones. Not to mention like there's so much stuff going on in ES, like there's really no way I could tell you that there won't be a load time. First of all,
I cannot make that promise.
I highly doubt there will be a load time on the PC. Like I'm sure it will be fucking instant. It's more a matter of like the Dreamcast and Ouya and stuff. Will that have a load time? Maybe a little one, but like, so we're doing some stuff right now, like we're trying to cache areas you've already been to, so that like maybe if you've already visited this area before proceeding and you'd like go back to pick up a potion, yeah, that might still be in RAM, so there won't be a load time. There's things that we're trying to do, but I definitely can't tell you that there won't be load times. I wish I could, but
I said I've never made a game before, but I've dabbled in RPG Maker VX Ace. How hard would it be for someone to make a no-skill level, for someone to make a Dreamcast game at USDK? I mean,
I can do it.
Build the world.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of learning Lua, which Lua is really easy to learn, and on API.
We wanted to make it so that basically you can create your own worlds within Elysian Shadows with zero programming knowledge or expertise. That like basically you can create your own maps that extend ES that way without ever having to look at Lua. But if you wanted to like branch off and create something like fundamentally different from what Elysian Shadows is, then that's when you need to
we're not using any of our prefabricated entities or behaviors.
Right, that's when you need to have some Lua scripting knowledge, and Lua is really not a hard language to pick up. That's one of the reasons that we're using it. All right.
Also, do we want to set like some sort of end time or end game for this? Or
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna say like, all right, 4:30. Is that cool? Like 4 minutes. Let's wrap this up, or 4:35 then. Like
yeah, that's fine. I'll let you guys do some like rapid fire questions.
All right. Let's go. Would it be possible to open up a pledge tier for the ESTK and engine for early adopters? Just the engine and ESTK? Like, no, because I mean, like, you get it for free. You get it for free with the game. So I mean, why don't you just pledge $15 and get it that way? And also, like, honestly, like, I want the game itself to be like the focus of this Kickstarter and everything. Like, the engine and stuff is an add-on, but like, the game is what I'm pouring my heart and soul into. So I want it so that you have to at least get the game. So just give $15. You can ignore the game itself if you don't care, but like you can still get the engine and toolkit that way.
Or you can pay more and get early beta access to it.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
Here's a question. Are you taking advantage of GPUs or planning to do so? Obviously, graphically, we're using the GPUs for rendering. Part of the thing is part of the physics engine is actually GPU accelerated with OpenGL. But part of the problem is some of the platforms that we're targeting do not have programmable pipelines like the Dreamcast. So we have to be careful in that if we're doing any kind of like low-level GPU acceleration like that, we have to do it in a manner that it can run on the GPU for platforms that have that, but it can also run on the CPU for platforms that don't. Like there's no way for us to assure that that's doable across the board because of all the different kind of architectures that we're trying to support with our engine.
Yep.
All right. Here's one with 5 that hasn't been. Oh crap! There was one with 9 and I missed it.
I got the 9 one.
Okay.
Probably no better icon for ES other than the Cubot or Julian's head. No. I mean, right now it's the angel head sprite for us internally, or I think it's Mega Man. The other one.
Yeah, internally it's Mega Man. We just haven't sat down and made an official icon. It might be like the actual logo.
Yeah, made the angel icon.
At least for the engine.
It's something so it wasn't just like the generic one on my toolbar.
Right. Okay, can you guys open up a game data JSON API like for game info, monsters, levels, NPCs? And if you guys open up ES Online, can we get game stats through that API? Eddie, do you want to answer? Don't you know like more about JSON than I do?
Yeah, I actually wanted to start doing that. Use JSON to define all of our stuff, because that's just like a really nice way to organize it all.
What is it? Is it like a?
It's just a description language. So.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with that is that it can't be stored like the assets we're loading at runtime because like we don't need additional overhead of like having to parse that shit when we're loading on the Dreamcast. So that would have to be an intermediary like description language that's converted into like a binary format.
You can like save it as a binary format if you want.
Okay. Well,
that's
the main thing.
I mean, it's going to be cheaper to parse the JSON than it will the Lua. I should put it that way.
Right, but like, okay, all right, I see what you're saying. Okay, next.
So the answer to the question is yes.
Let's see. We're trying to pick one that's not like a huge response, and then do a bunch of these at once.
Can you explain why you guys are developing for Dreamcast and not the PS2 or Xbox? I'm going to be completely honest with you, because the PS2 and Xbox are basically dead. There is a much bigger, well, that's not the main reason. There's a much bigger Dreamcast homebrew scene than there is for PS2 and Xbox right now, because they've been succeeded by the PS4 and Xbox One and the PS3 and Xbox 360. Like, the Dreamcast homebrew scene is so, like, relevant and alive because it was Sega's last console, and it holds a legacy, you know?
Plus,
And
Dreamcast is just cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, Dreamcast is just fucking awesome. Like, there is not that level of, there's just not that scene there for those two. And like, why would we do that when I could target like the PS4 now and get like all of those people? You know what I mean? That's just the way that I feel.
Somebody asked, will there be a dynamic AI system similar to Elder Scrolls Oblivion AI? NPCs have sleep cycles and jobs. Would there be a stretch goal for this? Yes, absolutely. That architecture already exists within the state machines. And that's actually how, like, if you watch the Kickstarter video, they closed up shop and everything, that's exactly what that is. A certain time of day happened, they realized, hey, it's time to close up shop, and that's what they did. So, absolutely. It's already there. It's part of bringing the world to life and the immersion that I wanted to create.
Right. Okay, all right, we have 5 minutes. Someone asked, is there any way to help out Team Elysian Shadows besides contributing money, advertising ES, and providing feedback, plus a pat on the back? Wait, are you asking if there's any way aside from all of that? Because that pretty much covers like every way that you could possibly help us out. Like, or are you saying
spread the word?
Like, yeah, aside from contributing money, like obviously spreading the word is like the biggest thing that could really help us out right now. Just spread the word on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. Tweet. Someone pick one because I've been picking all of them.
Quite a few of them too, if you guys see
Okay,
them.
well here's a +8. Hold on. Will ESTK, LibGyro, and ES Gamma be under a license where ES players are able to sell games made with these tools? If so, to what extent? Yeah, they will be. We haven't like finalized that. There will be some kind of a little bit of royalty, just because, like I said, like we have to be able to like afford to maintain like the quality of these tools.
And that's
and,
independent from ES. Right?
Yeah, and like continue on development there so that we can make sure that you have a quality platform. So, but yeah, you'll totally be able to do that. We're just not sure like the exact logistics of it yet. Okay, continue.
Somebody said, are you guys planning on going to gaming conventions next year, like PAX, Gamescom, E3, etc.? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
World must prepare themselves for the Elysian shows.
We'll be at Siege in October.
October, yes.
Yeah.
I believe Dan may be coming stateside for that. I don't know.
Yes.
Right. All right. 3 minutes. Go.
Let's see.
I'm not sure if it's been asked, but if the 250k mark has been reached, would Vita be possible also?
Well, yes.
Which mark is that? 250k?
Yeah, that's because the new stretch goal graphic stops at 250. The Vita is actually 260.
We're just putting a few up at a time.
Oh, there's a new stretch goal graphic? I didn't even know that.
Dan's on the shit.
It's just condensed.
Oh, well, shit. Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you answer that. I didn't even know that because I was asleep. But yes.
Yes, it's just condensed so we don't overwhelm you with all the stretch goals at once, so we can keep track of them as they go.
So
yes, Vita's still there.
It should be only on specific platforms compared to others due to the way the gameplay works. I mean, that's kind of the exact opposite of our philosophy with LibGyro.
What was it? Oh, yeah, that one.
Do you feel that ES should be only on specific platforms compared to how the gameplay works? I mean, we want to put it on everything.
I would say no. Like that's one of the design philosophies we've always tried to adhere to, is that if there's nothing gameplay-wise that cannot be experienced on every platform, and if certain platforms are not capable of certain special effects and stuff, we've always been very self-conscious to not make it gameplay affecting.
Somebody asked, would it be possible to make a Doom Wolfenstein game with ESTK in the engine?
Actually, yes.
Scaling, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Like, if you look back at Adventures in Game Development with our first-person camera, like, it's basically already what that is, yes.
Yes.
Actually, it'd be really easy to do that, too.
Can we call the studio Gyro Vorbis Industries in the name Gyro Vorbis in some way? It's Elysian Shadows, so that's what it is.
Jesus. All right, 1 minute.
All right, somebody take the last question.
Let me look at
one. There's a point.
Whoa. +10. I live in Huntsville. Let's get drunk. Oh, David Falk. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Are you coming to the launch party next weekend?
Yeah.
Come to the launch party, dude. Next weekend. We'll be here. We'll all get drunk. Everyone else, too. Everyone in the stream, you're invited personally to my house. Or on the internet. All right. Anything else? One last question.
For the team, who is your favorite Pokemon?
Squirtle.
Fundamental.
Dugong and Vileplume.
Ditto.
I get a lot of shit for this, but my first Pokemon ever was Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
love
like
the
him
shit
too.
out of Bulbasaur, and I
Dude,
love Dugong too.
Squirtle is the true starter.
The grass types are underrated.
All right.
Fucking love
I
the shit out of
think that was a very legit. I
Final
think that
question.
was a very legit final question. What our favorite Pokemon is. All right. So the rest of you, like with questions and stuff like that, keep posting them. Like we go back and we read the YouTube
Google
comments.
Plus.
Yeah.
Do these question and answer ones end up on the Google Plus comments? Is there any way we can go back and see
they do.
these?
They do. So they'll still be there. So like we'll go back and answer you guys. So, all right. Thank you for attending the stream. Like we have so much work we have to do today. Expect like a new YouTube video coming up.
Thank you guys again so much for helping.
Thank you. Yeah. So like we still have an entire week for stretch goals for like gaming press and stuff. So like this may very well be the beginning of something huge now that we're officially funded, and it makes us look a lot more legit.
Hey, there's Connor's face.
Yeah, Connor actually showed his face.
Thanks,
There it
guys.
is.
So we'll end with Connor's beautiful face. Wait, if I can fucking select it. Hold on.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah.